The Dent Slayer, Matt Boyette. Thank you so much for being here.
She's smooth, Lord.
Every year I do this event. This is a segue off of your story with the dog attacking its owner or its 2-year counterpart.
Yep.
And every year, so this would have been year 5 of swimming the Hudson for the Navy SEAL Hudson River Swim. And every year I see this guy, and he's got his Malinois, beautiful dog. The guy is very...
He swims with him?
No, he doesn't swim with the dog, but he does the event. He's like a veteran SEAL. Very timid guy. Like, I've never gone up and talked to him because he just looks so intense. So out of 300 swimmers, there might be 190, 215 SEALs, whether active or retired. So I see this guy, and I see him out signing the flag, and I just happen to be outside of the flag because I'm volunteering at the same time. And I said, "Oh, you didn't bring your dog this year?" And he stops through the stack of flags, looks up, and he says, "My dog turned on me." And then went back down to just signing the flags. And I'm like, "Oh."
No.
Yeah.
No.
So his wife just happened to be volunteering with me inside, setting up, handing out bags, and doing all the other admin stuff. And I went over and I talked to her, and I said, "I was talking with your husband in the hallway," and he said, "The dog turned." And you just see the tears wall up in her eyes, and she said, "That dog was our everything." So let's just call this guy John. Retired from the SEALs, has all these, TBIs and everything else that he's trying to work through. And the dog he's had for 7 years, they have no children, so they baby this thing. And then one day he comes home, he's working the dog, he's playing with the dog, and then he commands it to heel, and he turns around with the bite toy, and the thing just latches on to his bicep and just shreds. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" And then it hits him from behind, takes him down, and he can't really recall anything that happened, but she said, like the lady you were saying, he had bite marks all in his skull.
No
He's
way.
in and out of consciousness. Now, this dude is tough as nails. I mean, he's as tough as they come, and he's laying there on the ground, and he remembered, he told his wife, "My last moments were, God, please help me," because he's in and out of consciousness, he's bleeding all over the place. And the dog just comes up and starts licking his face.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he wakes up in the hospital room like 2 days later. She said she was a nurse. She was an ER nurse, and she got the call that it was going on. He was in the ICU for 11 days, so the thing tore him up pretty good.
Oh, my goodness.
She had to go home and dispatch the dog before he was going to be released. And so it put it in a whole new perspective of how delicate these Malinois can be, and when they turn, why, how, when. If anything, that would have been the last dog that I would have said, "I'll put my money on that one." It blew my mind, but it breaks my heart for them, 'cause
Horrible.
Then all this work that he did to work into civilian life is now just set back. So I wasn't trying to one-up your story, but
That was good.
well,
Yeah, is it the Malinois though, or is it just any dog?
I don't know, man.
Like, are we going to isolate it to a breed, or are we going to say like sometimes dogs just turn, right? Like,
I've never heard that. With
My story
Chihuahua.
was a border collie.
Yeah.
A border collie
Yeah.
mauled this woman.
I think I think part of the difference is there's so much potential in Malinois to do damage that it makes it worse.
More
right?
dangerous.
If a Chihuahua turned on you, it's like, just kick the thing across the room. Malinois and Navy SEALs fighting for his life.
Yeah. Might kill you.
Might kill you. Yeah.
Yes.
We just had to put our dog down. Bandit, not Rip. We had 2 dogs. We have Rip and Bandit, and Bandit I've had since 2012, and he was obviously old, 13 years old, and he just got he deteriorated really quick. I mean, you could see like this immediate kind of drop off pretty quickly, and I got up one morning and tried to do like my normal routine with him, which is they usually come in the room and kind of wake me up until I get up out of bed, and then I'll get dressed. I go get a cookie, take them outside, give them and let them go to the bathroom, and then they come back inside and they wrestle for about
Like an Oreo or
no, like a dog
Yeah,
treat.
is this for
a
you?
dog biscuit
Dog biscuit.
cookie?
So I brought them back inside, and normally they wrestle until I get mad and kick them back out again for playing in the house, and then I get dressed and I leave. But that morning, I could hear Bandit before I even got up. I heard him breathing really, really strained, and so I was like, "What's going on?" And so I got up and. He didn't want to go outside. He didn't want his cookie. Normally, that's like his favorite part of the day is getting his dog treat, and he didn't want it. I threw it to him, and he just walked past it like it was like, and I'm like, okay, that's different. He went outside, and he went and laid underneath the trampoline and did not want to come inside. Normally he wants to be inside too, like, because, you know, it's hot in here in Florida. He's got a thick coat, and so he did not want to come in. And I'm like, told my wife, I'm like, hey, Bandit's outside, doesn't want to come in, just kind of watch him, but just let him do his thing. Like he'll tell us what he wants. And so he just laid there, and my kids monitor him throughout the day, and he had this really heavy breathing, and he was really like exhausted. And it was like if you were to do like a CrossFit workout and just be exhausted, and that breathing rate is what he was like all day, just and so I came home at I got home from work at 6:30 or something, and I walk in, and he was in the bedroom floor breathing heavily just like that. And we all kind of were like, hey man, it's getting like, this isn't. FaceTime my mom, because my mom knows a lot about dogs too, and she was like, yeah, take him to the vet. And so we took him to the vet, and the vet's like, best case, 1 to 4 months. That's if we do surgery. He had a mass on his spleen that was full of blood, and it was like this, I don't know, but it was some mass. It was full of blood, and it was putting pressure on his thorax or his rib cage, and he couldn't breathe, and he just had less lung capacity, and it was like, so they were like, yeah, if we do surgery, he's got 1 to 4 months, and so we had to make a decision to put him down, and that was pretty bad for the kids. I mean, for all of us, but so I'll make it a little bit more. So I took my daughters wanted to come with us to my boys were like, yeah, I don't want to go. And I said, all right, well, y'all stay home and dig a hole then, because that's what's going to happen. So their therapy is go dig a hole. My daughter's therapy is go be there for him by his bedside, you know. So we did all that. Boys dug a hole, and they're like, hey, we can cremate him, or you can take him home and bury him. And we have a large yard, so we're like, no, we're definitely going to take him home and bury him. And we'll make a little tombstone for him and all that. And so I got home, and so when we left, they give you it's like a coffin, but it's just cardboard. But
That's what he's in.
I was anticipating them giving him like a bed sheet or some kind of cloth thing wrapped up, but they're like, oh, we got a coffin, and it was just this large cardboard box, heavy duty thing, and I'm like, yeah, I bet the boys didn't dig a hole big enough, guaranteed. So we get home, and I go back and just shine a flashlight. I'm like, yeah, it's not big enough, and so I started digging it bigger. My wife's like, why don't you just take him out of the box, like not put him in, you don't got to put him in the box. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And so I'm not thinking. And so we're in the driveway at night under a flashlight, and I open the box to pull Bandit out, and then I see him again and dead, and all the kids saw him dead, and then my wife, and it was just this explosion of reality of emotions. So that was pretty hard. And then we had to wrap him up, swaddle him, or whatever you want to call it, in a good way, and then we took him out and buried him, and lowered him down and all that. It was obviously emotionally hard, but
Yeah.
and we had lots of talks about it, and we were talking about how dogs prep you for adulthood, you know, dealing with loss, dry running those emotions, you know, either joy or the loss of them, because I mean, if you own dogs, you're going to outlive your dog more than likely, depending on your lifespan. But if you live a healthy life, you're going to go through 4 or 5 dogs probably before you die, so you're going to have to deal with that process of the joy of the puppy and then the grieving and having the decision to put them down. And so I think God gave us dogs to be able to process that, experience that. And so as bad as it is, I think it was healthy for them to go through that. And I kind of place a value on that too, of that experience. But yeah, it was pretty hard for them, but it was good to see that side of them, so.
Yeah. We have our first family dog now. We've only had her for a few years, and I'm not looking forward to that when it does happen.
Yeah. I think as men, we can kind of prep ourselves for like that. I think kids, it kind of catches them off guard. Like it did for my kids. It just totally, they've never thought about it. Again, this is how many dogs have we had, Mark? Like how many dogs have we buried?
I mean, that's kind of what I was going to jump in and say. Like, we lost our dog in 2020. We had a French Bulldog for 14 years, which is like a long life for a French Bulldog. But before that, I don't think I've ever had any real emotional attachment to a dog. I mean, my dad would bring home dogs from a construction site or something, like some ratchet looking thing.
His name's Dog.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like as a kid, I don't know. I just don't think I had that experience. Maybe it's good for them that they did that.
We had a dog that got hit by a car. You were probably too young to remember that one, though, because I was really young. We're 3.5 years apart. So, but I remember our dog got hit by a car, and, like, it ripped it open, like, mutilated it, but it was alive, and my dad had to go dispatch it and then bury it. So I remember vaguely that whole deal. But then, like, we had lots of dogs after, and I don't remember me going through what my kids went through, if that's what makes sense. Like I never had that type of reality that maybe Mom would tell us if we did. Maybe we just don't remember. But
I used to think that I'd be able to put my own dog down, like I can shoot my own dog, like if it needs it. But then now I'm like, there's no way, because I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that to be my last memory of me shooting this dog in the head. But think about farmers, for people, for as long as there's been man-dog relationships.
Old Yeller.
Horses.
Bro, that
a whole new
movie,
reality.
my goodness.
I mean, and full disclosure, I did go over the option of using a firearm on my dog.
Yeah. You've done that before, right?
No.
I thought you had.
No, I haven't.
You're a Doberman.
No, I haven't ever done that because it's against the law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I've considered it until
Yes.
I read up on the laws.
Did they
you're
tell you about that at the
law-abiding.
vet?
No, a friend of mine did who
Really?
got a restraining order put on him for doing so. So
Against what? A dead dog?
no, it's like dispatching a firearm within the city limits against an animal, or like there's some kind of
There's a code.
You have to pay to play there.
So
The vet lobby made that one happen.
yeah. Hey, it cost me almost $600
No way.
for that vet visit.
When I thought about that, I was like, if we had to put the dog down, just get Mark to come over here and do it. He doesn't have I promise
He'll
you.
fare well
He'll
in jail.
consider it.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
I'd pay you $100 instead of the $600 for the vet.
And he'd write you a letter when you're in the pokey.
yeah.
No, sir, I didn't hear any shots.
Yeah, $600 for that vet visit, as opposed to a round is.
Yeah, 56 for a... Wow.
Now I will say, the process that they did to put him down was awesome. I mean, if I had to if you're gonna put me down, you can take me there, because that was Like it was.
It'd probably be cheaper that way. That might be.
In
Wait, that's
cardboard
not
box.
legal.
Well, I'm sure.
Don't open it.
Okay, bro. So in Canada,
I do want a pine. I would like to have a pine box that I'm buried in. Just,
Seriously, like with like
old,
nails?
like old
Pine.
pallets. Just sure.
pallets.
You can make
So,
it. I don't need another thing.
You
Sure, you
know,
can find that on Facebook Marketplace.
you know, euthanasia is legal in Canada. Did y'all know that?
for people.
Do y'all listen?
Vermont. They just legalized it in
Oh
Vermont.
my goodness. So do y'all listen to The Briefing, Al Mohler?
No.
Daily news and events from a Christian worldview. It's good. But anyways, the other day he was talking about this, and right now in Canada, this is I think 1 in 20 deaths is euthanasia in Canada right now. So 5% of all deaths.
Voluntarily signed, administered.
Yes, I want to die, and so
Wow.
that's a huge chunk of deaths.
Right.
That's crazy.
So with Bandit, and the nurse was very awesome. Like the way that because she was very, she explained thoroughly what was going to happen, and she was very warm in how she did it. My daughters were like, that was awesome that she. But they gave because Bandit was like I told you, his heart rate was high, his breathing was high, he was like exhausted, so to speak, and so they gave him something to calm him, to like chill him out while they diagnosed him and while we were there kind of pondering our options. And so they gave him that shot. And then once we made the determination what route we were going to do, she came in and she explained, I think there was 2 other injections that they did. One was to, it was anesthesia. So like, we're going to give him this, and like within like 2 seconds, he's going to be out. And then after he's out, then we give
Then
him
they
this
kill him.
other thing, and it just basically overdoses them. It's
Yeah.
an overdose on their heart. And so he dies under anesthesia. And I have a picture of how he died, like him dead. And
You were recording it?
no,
Oh.
I have a picture.
Weirdo.
And he looks so calm and like at peace. Like
He was on that morphine.
it was like because he was like 2 feet from me as he expired.
Wow.
And I watched him, and I was happy with how that happened.
Wow.
Let's just say, like, it was like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
Like
Different experience from a bullet.
of course.
Yeah.
So from a bullet tearing through your brain at 3,000
Yeah.
feet per second for a 5.56. This was a lot more tranquil,
Yeah.
and he just went under and went to sleep and just never woke up. And the position he was in he was like relaxed, and like I was like, man, he looks awesome.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever there's a song called Happier by Marshmello. Have you ever
Is this a kid song?
No.
Sounds like
If you just go to YouTube, and it's the music video you're going to cry cuz there's nothing, a dog doesn't have anything to do with the song, it doesn't sound like, but the story in the music video is crazy. So if you'd like to make yourself cry, just go watch that.
maybe after the
hard
podcast,
pass.
we can all watch it and cry later.
Well, still wrangling spreadsheets and scribbling estimates by hand? Say no more. Mobile Tech RX gives you everything in one slick app. Estimates, job tracking, QuickBooks integration, and more. It's built to help recon pros work smarter, ditch the admin grind, and get paid faster. Start your 5-day free trial at mobiletechrx.com.
Every repair shop owner knows insurance claims slow everything down. Enter claimconnection.io. Experts in writing CCC estimates and submitting claims that stick. They'll fight for every dollar while you do what you do best: quality repairs and making customers happy. Claimconnection.io. Relentless claim support so you can fix more dents, make more money, and stress less.
So today we have a very special podcast because it's the first time that we have 2 guests, so 4 total people right now.
Yeah.
So first, 2 firsts. First would be the first guest that has returned to the podcast, the owner of Ace of Spades Dent Repair, Tony from Narragansett, Rhode Island, Tony Shirley.
Thanks. Yeah.
Welcome back, Tony.
Don't forget to tip your waitress.
And also our other guest, first time on the podcast,
In person, because we've talked about
him. My Matt's brother and my 3 doors down neighbor, Mark Boyette,
Depending on how you look at it.
owner of Tier One Dent Repair. Welcome to the show, Mark
Thanks.
Boyette.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Feel like I've been here before.
You have in spirit.
So I was gonna interrupt y'all.
Ooh.
Because I have a good story that y'all were talking. It kind of segues into what y'all were talking about. You're talking about dogs attacking and killing dogs and stuff. Or
That's a rough way to put
nobody
it.
killing dogs. No one killed anything.
Considering.
Yeah. So I was a police officer for about 2.5 years, and it was my first day.
How did you end up being a police officer? Let's just give me
want me to go through?
like a 30-second how. Because you've been a dent guy longer than that.
Yeah. So, man, that's not a 30-second how. We'll get back to that.
All right.
All right. So, it was my first day by myself handling all the calls, but I had another officer with me who would supervise everything and make sure I'm not screwing up too bad. So we get this call of a dog bite, and we didn't know what it was, just a dog bite. And so we show up, and there's like it's kind of like a condo, and the way that the house is situated, you can't see the front door from the street. And there was a construction truck and has like a big ladder rack, and there's a guy standing on top of this ladder rack, and he's got this dog by a leash, and he's almost hanging.
He's
And
on top of the ladder rack?
on top of the ladder rack.
I've never seen that before.
I've seen it once. I haven't seen it since. And so this dog is spinning like an alligator, trying to get out of this situation he was in, trying to get out of. He didn't have it like it wasn't like hooked to his collar. They had it was almost like a lasso and cinched it around his waist. So we show up on this deal and we're like, what the heck is going on? Who's bit? And so my sergeant at the time goes around to the side of this truck and gets like a view of the front door. And there's this man standing in the front door, and his face is like hanging off of one side. Oh. And so so we were trying to catch the dog with like a rope before we saw all that. And so she yells and she's like, shoot the dog, shoot the dog. And so I'm just like, I go to shoot this dog, and my training officer is like, don't, I'll do it. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And so he goes up and shoots this dog, and I drag this dog out of the way, and this guy is like,
Is it spinning when he's trying to shoot it?
yeah, he was still, yeah. You could like walk up to the dog if you wanted to. Like,
What kind of dog was it?
pit bull. Yeah, he's smaller too. He's probably maybe 50 pounds. It's like a smaller pit bull, I'd say. So we shoot this dog, drag him out of the way, and the guy comes walking out, and he's got his hands up, rightfully so, I guess, considering. And his face is hanging off on one side. His bicep is just kind of destroyed, and so the ambulance shows up, and they're like walking up at the same time as he's walking out, and they stop in their tracks, and they immediately run back to the ambulance and call life flight. They end up life flighting this guy. But the story goes, they were sitting down eating dinner, and they were Hispanic, so there was like a house full of these these people. They were all construction workers, kind of lived together, and they were sitting down eating dinner together. And the dog comes up to the couch and he's like begging, and he kind of kicks at it to shoo it away. And he jumps up and grabs his bicep and just shreds his bicep. So he jumps up, runs to the bathroom. He's in the bathroom for like 15 minutes doing what he can to his bicep. And the dog sits at the door and is like waiting for him. And so I don't know what everyone else in the house was doing. We didn't get that information. But the guy opens the door and the dog lunges and grabs him on his face. And he grabs him about underneath his eye and underneath his jaw and just is thrashing him. And so the brother lassos this dog by the waist and rips the dog off of him and drags him outside and jumps up on this ladder truck. And that's kind of where we showed up.
My goodness.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, we saw the after surgery a couple weeks later on the news, and he's pretty messed up. But it got all his sinus cavity was pretty much destroyed. It was really close to like his jugular. He's lucky to be alive, but
That's crazy.
there were two dogs. There was another one that we had to take out, and we put it in the back of the animal control vehicle. And then we got word 30 minutes later that they had to put this dog down. They couldn't even get it out. It got so aggressive. So we think they were fighting them or something. And they were not upstanding gentlemen, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, like the house was, you could kind of tell it was not the best situation for anyone.
You think the dogs already had like a bloodlust to begin
Oh,
with?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 They say that triggers some type of dopamine in a dog's mind when they get that. You can work a dog, you know, for bite therapy and whatnot, but when they get a taste of human blood, and that's like their reward, it's like cocaine for a working dog or a fighting dog, you know, and then there's no way of getting that out. It's like meth. It is just ingrained in you, and they want more of it. That's why working dogs, aggressive working dogs and really good working dogs are so successful in what they're doing, because there's no more tossing the ball. There's no more pulling the rope. It's like, you tell me and I'm coming out with a human arm. You know?
That's wild.
That is, oof,
Yeah.
no bueno.
So, Mark, we want to do like an abbreviated, not a Brendan Schmitz 4-hour deal.
I didn't listen to that.
Well, our last episode was 4 hours. Thanks a lot, Brandon. But yeah, tell us how you got into PDR and kind of bring us to where you are.
The dog bite?
PDR,
And where
dog
I'm at
bite to here.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like changing oil at a car dealership, and I was trying to be
This is true. This isn't a joke.
no 100%.
Really?
Yeah. What?
Which dealership?
I was just like, no, he was probably just started off at like a really high job or something, changing oil. I'm like,
Well, I started off at like Jiffy Lube.
really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
At Jiffy Lube? Oh man, I was probably 17. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went to the dealership in Fernandina? when you were
Yeah,
trying to
so
go?
my parents moved from, what I would consider my first house up to Fernandina Beach. And I was like 17, and so I was working in Jacksonville at Jiffy Lube. And when I moved, it was like 45 minutes away. And so I eventually started working at a car dealership, changing oil, and I was trying to become a, ASE certified, technician. So I was doing some classes trying to do that. And I remember it was Paul Clark Ford. Yeah, do you service him?
I do.
You do? Okay. Yeah, still around.
It's still that same building. The
Same one? Never
yeah,
remodeled?
the Chrysler dealer has gotten nicer. That is probably the same as you.
They're holding
Yeah.
So I remember I think you had broke your leg at the time. Of course, I knew Matt pushed dents. I mean, but I think Matt had broken his leg at the time, and
Dirt
Kelly,
bike?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly was driving him around, and I remember I'm out on this lot. I forget what I was doing, and I look over, and there's Matt and his, I don't know if y'all were married, fiance, girlfriend, wife, whatever it was at the time. And I'm like, gosh, that's freaking awesome. Like, he has no real schedule. His girlfriend's driving him around.
That's how you do it, boys. That's how you do it.
And I'm like covered in grease, changing oil on, a Ford Taurus. And I was like, this sucks. So I don't remember how the process goes, but I ended up interviewing with Buddy Ray, and I don't remember the other guy's name.
Ross Wrangler?
Yeah.
Was it Ross?
Yep. And went to Dent Wizard School and did
About what year?
It was the first class of 2001. Yep. So I showed up in St. Louis. I drove my lowrider S10 to St. Louis.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the S10, it wasn't the Cyclone.
No.
Okay, this was just.
This is the one that you got a ton of tickets for the tent, right?
Yeah. 22.
22 tickets.
For the windshield?
Windshield too. Yeah.
Oh.
It was all. It was
Okay.
everything.
There's only 4 windows in an S10.
Are you current on that?
Oh,
On the tickets?
You know what? There could be one lingering out there. I don't know. There's so many. But yeah, I went to Dent Wizard School and came home and just kind of started hitting the ground running. It was kind of a rough start to begin with. I mean, I know everyone's got to pay their dues. That's given. But when I came out, the manager was supposed to, secure me a route, and of course they never do, and it's a bunch of hand-me-down stuff that nobody really wants. And so I think I was driving 2 hours one way, like twice a week to
Douglasville, Georgia, and didn't you go to Douglasville?
Yeah, Douglasville, Georgia, Waycross, back and forth to Orlando and Daytona area constantly, and trying to fill in with anything I could get in Jacksonville. And trying to learn, you spend 2 hours one way looking at a windshield. It's like
It's hard to get any time practicing.
oh yeah, yeah. And then I'd show up. I go to Douglasville, and it would be, I don't know what the population is there now, but in 2001, it's kind of like a hole in the wall place. And so there's like a Kia dealership, and they might have 15 cars, and so you're fixing one car, two panels or something. So it wasn't even worth the trip to go. And so at that time in Dent Wizard, everything was separate. You didn't have like now everything is kind of reporting to one manager or, one kind of area. But at that time, the dealers were separate, the rentals were separate, the auction was separate. And so you could go months, weeks, or even years and not even know people, because it was almost like you weren't allowed to go there unless you were hired by that particular guy over that, auction or what have you. So anyway, needless to say, that route just didn't work out. And after the first year, you were on like a draw plan. So mine was like $2,500 a month, but I forget how it all broke down, but I would have to do like $8,500 a month in billing to cover my $2,500 draw. And then if you didn't do that, you had to pay back.
You go into debt.
Yeah, whatever
Deficit.
you're lacking.
Deficit.
Yeah. So my first year, I was like $8,000 in the hole. And the manager came to me one day and was like, "Hey, we're gonna let you go." And I'm like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, we're gonna let you go. It's just not working out." And we had a conversation, but at that time, I had started filling in some days at the rentals. So it was a whole another manager. And so it was almost like I was let go from this position on this day, and the same day I just continued on as a rental tech. And so from there, I just was a rental tech. I'd show up to the rentals every day, and it was gangbusters. I mean, I didn't realize. I realize now, but at the time, I didn't realize how much money I could have made as a rental tech in 2001, 2002, had I just
Locked in.
or even had like a good first year, like really pushing dents. And even with like a mentor, like I said, like, Matt was kind of off doing his thing, and everyone else was kind of off doing their thing. So
You didn't have a mentor.
no, not at all.
Wow.
And the rentals were so busy. I mean, you had Avis, Budget, Hertz, and they were all kind of separate accounts within that. And so, I mean, it was gangbusters. And so I think I came out of the hole, that $8,000 within 6 months or so. But yeah, it was good. I had, for those listening, this is going to date myself a little bit. Frank Hallberg and his wife Tammy Hallberg, they were out of Orlando. They were kind of over all the rentals in Florida. I could be mistaken. That's how I understood it. And he kind of took me under his wing. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he was awesome.
I've never met him.
He's passed now. Yeah, he passed maybe 5 years ago. Could be mistaken a little bit, but yeah. But took me under his wing, got me situated with some good guys out there, and just went to work.
So eventually you left the rentals, went to a route.
Yeah, so the rentals got really slow there for a while. I don't know what happened with Hertz, but rentals got really slow, and I kind of there were two other technicians there, and so I left and went to a route side of things, and I did that, and it was pretty good. I mean, I don't really have any complaints or anything.
And you were doing route when I came on.
When you come on, 2005,
4,
6, 5, 2005.
yeah.
Yep.
How were the rentals when you came on? They were pretty slow.
When I first got hired, I never knew anything about that. But then I got deployed for a year and came back, and Mike Caudell was like reviving the rentals, but it was nothing. It was just like a speck on his total route.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember fixing a dent at the rentals, and I was pushing on this dent, and I was just not, it wasn't fixing. And I'm, Mark, come help me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm pushing on it. It's not coming up. He's like, oh, you got to fix all the smile around it. I'm like, I don't see anything. And he's like, all this right here? No, I don't see any of that. He's like, all right, well, eventually you'll see it, but you got to fix this before the dent comes up. I just remember him being like, yeah, you got to fix all this. I'm like, I can't see any of that. And he's like, huh? Well, hopefully one day you will.
One day
because you got to be able to.
Or it won't.
I was like, well, one day maybe.
Yeah. That place was it was like a Wild West. So with the rentals, you had a deductible that you would have to meet whenever you look at a car. I think it was around $450 or $500. So scratches were worth like 50 a panel, dents were worth 50, bumpers and so on and so forth. So anything over that dollar amount is what you were allowed to fix. So you had to walk every car and make sure that you could fix it before. Then once you fixed it, it would go to a railhead, it would get inspected. And then if you sucked, you would get charged back. And so you couldn't get like the route guys to come out. I'm pointing at him, but it's route guys, not necessarily Matt.
Matt and the boys.
Because what would happen is they would try to fill half of their day or whatever they were lacking, and they would come out there and just blow through cars. And then a month later, they're like, what? $500 charged back? That sucks. So I'm not going out there anymore. So whenever they would come out, I won't say his name, but you know, we have a friend that would just come out there and goof off, and you know. Were you there when when he put on it was like a cargo net from like a minivan? Were you
For a shirt?
Probably.
for a shirt? Yeah,
I mean, that image is, I do have that image in my brain. I don't know if that was that instance. It could have been several other instances where he was wearing a fishnet.
That's what it looks like. Anyway, skip.
Yeah.
So now this kind of ties into you're on a route, and then eventually you become a policeman.
Yeah, so I was 2008 kind of hit, and the economy just took a dive, and my routes weren't that great, and you know, I was just kind of looking at what I wanted my future to be, and I decided to go into the police academy and be a reserve police officer. So Dent Wizard ended up kind of finding out, and I don't know exactly how everything shook down on the backside of things, but they thought in their best interest to let me go. They did massive layoffs across the company during that time, and I unfortunately didn't make it. And so I went into the police academy and immediately started like my own dent company. And took me a year to get through the police academy because I was going at night, and then I got a job as a reserve officer. That's the only way you could get a job with this particular department. And so
You have to start like that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like a long-term interview process. They don't want to just hire somebody off the street. They want you to come and work. They get a feel for you because it's kind of a smaller town, and then they hire you out of that. So I did that, and then I had a buddy of mine. He was a competitor, and he called me, and he just like started feeding me hail cards because Dent Wizard took everything that I had. So he started feeding me hail cards, and he eventually started chasing hail, and he was like, "Hey, what do you think about chasing hail?" And I was like, I always hated hail. Like hail rentals sucked because, you know, you're so busy doing your turnbacks, you don't want to spend time on hail. So I never really put much thought into it other than it sounded cool because of wife and kids and travel and all that stuff. And I was really trying to do the whole cop thing. And the economy just never really turned around with the cop thing, and they didn't have it in their budget. And so I eventually ended up leaving. And at the same time, Dent Wizard was kind of revamping everything that they had, you know, let go in 2008, 2009. And so I remember Matt calling and was like, "Hey, they're going to hire somebody." And I told them if they hire somebody, it's got to be you. Because then in Jacksonville, Jacksonville is a tight-knit community, or at least it was. I know there's a lot more dent guys now, but at the time it was me, Matt, you know,
Chip,
Shane, and their family. We're family.
Jeff.
And then, I mean, you're hiring your friends, your brother, you know, whoever it was. And so, like, Jacksonville was almost impenetrable in some areas. So they didn't want some knucklehead going through school and coming out and, you know. So I came back, and at that time I was like, I'll come back, but I want to do hail. So I did route for 6 months and then immediately transferred onto the hail team. And that's kind of where I am today.
And it was kind of this convergence because I decided I was going to go do hail that same year. Will decided he was going to do hail, like not at all really talking to each other. It was just kind of like our own life decision. And so we all like went and did hail together, like specifically. I mean, that first job was Atlanta in 2013, and we all went straight to it. But yeah, it was easy. I mean, and it was safer too because it was all strange and we didn't know what we were getting into as far as like the damage, and then you have to fix it. There's no out, like, and we didn't know what life on the road was like. And so we just all kind of went together to do hail, and so it worked out really easily in that way because it would be harder if you were doing it by yourself, as you're finding out the hard way, Tony. But yeah, we had each other, and we all teamed up and learned together.
Yeah, that was a big decision for me too, because I remember, at least as far as Dent Wizard goes, like if you were a hail tech back in 2000s or even before, like it was like the guys you hear about like in the background, like, oh man, they made this much money, or you see what they did. Like it was, you had to be super good to be on the hail team back in the 2000s.
You were upper tier guys. You
Yeah.
weren't
That
just
was
like
the elite, huh?
you weren't
Yeah,
just like a
like you couldn't come
wholesale
out
guy.
of you couldn't come out of school and go be a hail guy. You can almost do that easily now, but you couldn't back in the day. And so, you hear rumors of drugs and alcohol and life on the road, and I was just like, oh gosh, I don't want to be around that. So it was easy when Matt wanted to do it and Will wanted to do it, and you just kind of come together, and you already have a core group of guys that you want to work with and you're friends with, and you already know the personalities. And he had 4 kids, I have 2, Will has 3, and so it was just like hanging out on the road.
So how long did you do hail for Dent Wizard? Hail team.
Some would say too long. I worked for Dent Wizard up until the first part of 2025 as a hail tech.
Okay. So you recently made a change. You want to get into that?
Officially. Yeah, I can get into it. I mean, how deep do I want to go?
You choose.
Non-incriminating deep.
Yeah, don't incriminate.
Yeah.
Topical.
Yeah. It was just time. I mean, I think every guy has a time of when they're just like, okay, I'm done with the corporate stuff, or you get to a place in your life where you're confident in what you're doing, you're financially in a place where you can make certain decisions, and I just found all of those things aligned for me. And over the years, you meet a lot of people and you get like a little job here, a little job there. And so it just kind of steamrolled to where it was just time to get off the ship. And
We've talked about it on the show, man. That Dent Wizard ship is hard to get off of. Like,
well,
there's
not much left floating nowadays, so it's probably
correct.
easier to
nowadays, but like, it was really hard. It
Yeah.
was cultish in a way, and I don't mean that against Dent Wizard. Like, they did something cultish, but like the connection that they had was like where you don't want to leave. Like, it's not like a job. It's not like, you work at Walmart one week and then you don't the next week, and it's like, oh, screw it, I'm just changing jobs. It was like the way that something about the Dent Wizard, how they, and I would say maybe it's not that way for every guy, because we've had guys on the show that left early on, but like I know at least for some of my friends, and it was like this huge connection, this like life altering decision to leave Dent Wizard. It was like this hard thing that a lot of guys felt, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what that thing is. I'm not putting anything on Dent Wizard that did anything weird. It was just something about it.
It was like that for me. It was really hard to leave.
Did you experience that same emotion?
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
absolutely.
Wow. Is it because it was like, let's see, statistically, at least half of your careers?
For me, I also
What do you mean?
came into
That's my whole career.
Yeah.
Dent Wizard.
up until this year.
I mean, it's not like
Well,
it's not like you're retired. You think of your lifespan.
Oh, yeah.
Of your working
Yeah.
career, that's at least or more than half.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, it's been it's really been my only real job besides military, which that's not really, it was never a real job for me. But when I came into it, like Mark, you came in, Matt was your brother. When I came in, the whole team in Jacksonville, I was already like friends with. So it was more very family atmosphere. You know, it wasn't, like your experience of not having any mentors. Like I had, both of you guys, Chip, Shane, Mike Caudell, all y'all were totally generous with me and mentored me. So yeah, that was the beginning, and that, you know, I think that kind of pulls it.
But towards the end, you didn't have that.
No.
Towards the end, you had nobody.
No.
Same with him, as far as like
when y'all left, that was the beginning of the decline. That was the peak. That was the pinnacle of Dent Wizard in Jacksonville, and then it has not.
Amen.
It's never. Just as far as guys doing PDR, that's just numbers wise.
Yeah.
That was the peak of it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, leaving, you know, the layoff in 2009, like that was big. Like, you know, I was making, in my eyes, more money than I'd ever made with like little effort up until 2009. I mean, you had side jobs and I mean, I think I barely broke 6 figures before taxes on a great year, you know, so it wasn't life-changing money by any means, but like I was just bad with my money. And so I spent dirt bikes and
Half pipes, wakeboard boats.
Retent.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to, yeah. Tickets. But so like when 2009 came, like it was like an eye-opening thing for me where I had to like, oh crap, like I have to be better with my money. And so there was a security thing. Like when I came back to Dent Wizard, it was like, okay, I know what I'm getting. Like for the most part, I mean, ultimately it has the hail, you know, people have to sell those hail jobs. I have to be dispatched to that hail job. But for the most part, there was like a huge security there that I felt safe. And over the years, like you meet guys and like it kind of felt like Jacksonville a little bit. And like you just kind of meet up with buddy from Tennessee and California or Atlanta, like just meet up on the same job. And so it felt like working with buddies again. And it was hard to leave that for sure.
So how was your first year on your own? How did it go? How long have you been home? What, a month yet?
Barely a month.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Are you glad that you made the decision you made?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. There's a.
Is it just based off of monetary, or are there other things that lead to?
So when I stayed with Dent Wizard, like everyone's like, "Oh man, you can make so much more money outside of it." 100%. Like there's no arguing that. But with that comes like, you know, we would get per diem that pays for our hotel and our food. We would get mileage, which, you know, was pretty good.
It takes some of the risk out of it, but then there's not as much upside.
Unless you're the top guys that Dent Wizard wants to put on the jobs. And that's where everything gets.
So there's some politics.
A lot of politics.
yes.
Yeah. Yep. You kick back, you say the wrong thing, or, you know, you make that one person mad. It can have an effect on you for sure.
Are you focused on repairing vehicles but forced to juggle insurance claims? That's a headache you don't need. With ClaimConnection.io, their team writes full CCC estimates for hail, collision, and PDR, then submits them and fights for every dollar you're owed. They handle the paperwork and the pushback. You focus on the repair. ClaimConnection.io, relentless claim support so you can fix more dents, make more money, and stress less.
This episode is brought to you by Mobile Tech RX, the #1 app built for auto recon pros. Whether you're chasing hail, fixing wheels, or repairing dents, Mobile Tech RX handles the full workflow from estimate to payment with zero fluff. With tools like X-ray, access photos, hail matrices, and tech pay tracking, you'll save time, make more, and look damn good doing it. Start your 5-day free trial at mobiletechrx.com.
Do you feel that's what kept you from starting the chainsaw and cutting down that tree earlier than you did?
What specifically?
Well, maybe the per diem and everything that goes along with it. And
yeah, but for me, like, I kind of know how much I can make in a day, and I know how much my expense costs in a day. I know how much my health insurance, how much they pay, how much it would cost me. And the offset for me at the time was just like, it's easy. Like, so if I was losing an extra, 15% or 20% by staying with Dent Wizard, it was just like, I don't have to think about anything. I can sit on my couch until March 16th, not even thinking about my hail season, and then my phone rings, and then I just get in my truck and go. But over time, that just got to be where it was not worth it. When
it was good, when I say like even before COVID, like when you could travel internationally, even the perks of that, which like they make it easy, is all I'm trying to say. Like if you need a work visa to make you legit, they get your visa. If you go work internationally, we still got a paycheck from Dent Wizard every 2 weeks, regardless of who was paying us and when they were paying us and if it was international and all that bull crap. Like our paycheck was direct deposited. There's no thinking about it. Like they'd book the flights, they'd book the rental car, they'd give us our condos, they'd get our visas. Everything would just be automatic. All you do is they fax you some forms, you sign the forms, and they tell you where to get on the plane, and they tell you where your cars are at. And then like the most the most mindful thing you had to do was pack your tools. Like that. Other than that, it's like they handled everything for you. You don't got to think about it. And so they made it really easy to like. So I would imagine to travel international, there's a lot more on you. There's a lot more risk. I mean, there's a lot more money up front that you got to just in booking and securing and doing all these things, and you don't know what you're walking into. Like any of those times we walked into Australia, it's like, I don't know what storm I'm walking into, and good damage, bad damage, you're kind of crossing your fingers that it's going to be good. And every time for me, it was. But like, I would imagine if you're going by yourself, you're taking all the risk, and that can be a lot potentially, and so then we just made it easy. Like,
yeah, and I'll say too, like, I'm not trying to disclude anybody that I haven't met or, that hasn't worked for Dent Wizard. But in my eyes, like when I came on with Dent Wizard, like I was working alongside of people whose names I've heard in passing or through the grapevine. And so you're like, man, these guys are working right next to me on a Dent Wizard job, and I'm working for Dent Wizard. I'm like, why would I leave? Because everyone seems to be kind of, drawn to the Dent Wizard jobs. And so, like, if I leave, I mean, who am I going to go work for? Like, everyone who I was kind of looking up to and hearing about on the street was working for Dent Wizard. So I'm like, I felt like I was sitting in a position of, I don't know the word. I was sitting in a better position than the guys that were just subcontracting out from Dent Wizard. So I just didn't want to. I didn't want to leave it. I guess you could say there was 100% like a false sense of security there.
So being on your own this year, what are some big takeaways or like tips that you would give somebody to be successful striking out on their own?
Watch who you work for. I almost got taken for, $15,000, which is a lot of money, but it's not, crazy money. But watch who you work for.
So you looking back, you shouldn't have worked for somebody that you did work for?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up getting paid, but the guy, me and the guy I was working with, he brought us in. He had this printout sheet of like line by line item of what he's going to do, how many techs he's going to get there. It was a 22,000 square foot warehouse that we had rented, couches, refrigerators. Like, I'm going to have all of this work. And I showed up first, and I called my buddy. I'm like, this isn't good. Like, there's 2 cars here, like in this 22,000 square foot place. And so he was just like, everything that was coming in, it was like totaled, and he wanted us to save the car, and I'll make it right. And so we didn't do any of those things, but it was just like red flag after red flag of don't be here. And we just racked up probably a little bit too much money, than what he had in his account, and bounced a check to me, and it took me, a week of phone tag and showing up at his place to get paid.
You had to show up?
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so not knowing, like, we left, and then another buddy of ours went in behind us. And we were like, dude, don't do this, don't do this. And he ended up leaving, and then some guys, I think, from Texas ended up showing up, and they never got paid, and they racked up a bill, and he never paid them.
Oh, no.
So I think we just kind of got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But back to your point, I'd say just watch out who you work for, and just don't burn any bridges. I mean, just do the best job that you can do every day that you show up, and just be a likable guy if you can, and be friendly, and take out the trash. I mean, that was the first thing they told us in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, we showed
literally take out the trash.
Not in those words,
Yeah.
but we showed up, and we had a big meeting with guys from everywhere, and like it was, hey, everyone come over here, and they're like, you better have $10,000 worth of tools. If you don't, I don't want to see you walking across the shop borrowing a tool from nobody. If you don't have it, buy it now. And he was like, if I see my girls coming out of the office taking out trash, pack your stuff. You got to go. You're not too good to take out the trash. So we're like, okay,
Dang.
take out the trash.
Wow.
They're no business. They don't play around over there.
Oh, wow. So, Tony, how long are you still working Are you still working, or are you done for the season?
My tools are currently still in New York. The last storm that I was doing is tapered off, but I said if there's any stragglers, I'm going to Florida, stack them for when I get back. So I'll know in a couple days. If there's anything left over, I'll go back there, tally those up. If there's not, I'll drive 6 hours to get my tools and call it a wrap. From there, that's how I'm taking it now. But
What season is this for you?
this is my second full season.
Okay.
End of the second full season.
Okay. How did it go?
I mean, I thought I did pretty well. I don't have like anybody to bounce the ball off of. I know.
You mean
I've-
like someone that there with you, like working with you?
right, or how cost comparison. I mean,
Yeah.
I know what my operating costs are. I know what my profit margins are. I mean, that just comes from business sense from running and operating a previous business.
We've had this conversation recently. His operating costs are a little high.
Well, he thinks I live high on the hog, and I'm like,
What is it that you're spending all this money on?
Hotels. And I don't know.
He's spending a nice hotel.
Well, I think the biggest difference from you and I is you have the ability and the skill set to be able to work as much as you want and drive 40 minutes to a hotel because it might be a cheaper deal. Where for me, at the end of the day, I am like glossed over. I got 10 minutes left to get home before I pass out and fall asleep. And then take a hot shower, wake up at 3:58 when my alarm goes off, do my morning routine, and then go to work and rinse and repeat. So I don't really have those luxuries of putting in that time to save. You know, I'd rather just say I'd be pushing for 4 more hours a day to try to make up that differential.
Are you saying that because you're kind of newer
Yeah.
to hail?
Yeah.
So you're still kind of
Putting it
struggling
all
to
in.
get through maybe some of the larger damage or just overwhelmed with
Yeah,
it?
I mean, what could take you X amount of hours might take me a multiplier of like 0.25 or 0.75. I don't know what it would be, but car to car comparison, yeah, you're gonna piss through it way faster than I could ever. Like, that's just the statistics of it. Fortunately for me, on the past 16 weeks of doing this last storm, is I've been estimating the cars. So being able to do that is a huge advantage of either flat rate and or we're telling you what you're getting paid. You know, because you can control some of that. So it doesn't matter what the split is. You know, if I'm a 52.5 or a 65%, if you're riding the cars, you're just like, it's a lot better of a gig than a flat rate. But still.
Phantom number.
Right. Did you learn that off of Shark Tank?
No. 25 years with Dent Wizard?
But yeah, there's never been somebody that I can bounce that ball off the wall and say, how did you do with this storm? How are you doing this year? And the guys that you do hold close to you, they're not giving you exact figures and numbers. It's just like, yeah, man, this year sucked. Okay, well, what does that mean for a guy of that caliber? So here, I'm just trying to put these pieces together of what I did last year.
You don't know what to compare it to.
I don't. And I know I will never make the money that I previously did in my past career, and I'm okay with that. But at the same time, what does the elite tech make versus the entry level versus what lies in the middle? I just don't know. It's all gray zone for me. But what I feel like I did this year, I'm like, you know, I shared with Matt, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm comfortable. I think that's good. My wife says at the end of the year.
Is he doing good, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
So
Exceptional.
gold
Hey.
star, baby. So that's reassuring and comforting. But the difference for me is I can't afford the opportunity to show up to a gig and be like, yeah, man, I'm not doing this, and then try to find somewhere else to land. I got to just keep my head down, garbage, clean the toilet, and buy everybody lunch. You know?
Just because you don't have the network yet?
I don't have the
Yeah.
network. And so last year, on the way out to Ohio, I got a call to stop in and do this car, and this thing was just beat up, man, and it was beyond my skill set. And the guy says, we're not worried about how long it takes you, we just want it done right. I'm like, okay. You know, there's a grace period there. So it took me 6 days to do it, and I'm just like, oh, this thing was hard. I shouldn't have taken this on. But what that afforded me was when we were in Ohio, Illinois, Fallon, Illinois, early in the season. O'Fallon, early in the season, you know. And then that job just like dropped off the chart. And then I'm sitting in the hotel room like, okay, where am I going to go next? Am I going to hunker down here, or am I going to drive home 18 hours and wait there? Because that 18-hour chunk mentally is just like, So fortunately, I lay in the hotel bed, early morning routine, and then I get a phone call from the previous guy in New York and says, hey, all my guys have wrapped up. Stuff's still trickling in. Are you interested? And dude, I was there for 12 weeks before I went to Texas and worked in Texas. Then I went back to New York, and that has been an incredible gig for me this year, but all because I just went in and did that one car. So it opened up that door. And
The 6-day car? That was
Yeah.
in New York?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get hooked up with that person?
I met somebody at a toy drive, right? And so that connection of you're just there to, I'm not there to network. At that point, I was just there to fix dents and have a good time. But naturally, you're going to rub elbows with people, get to know guys, and that was just awesome.
Is that Dave White's toy drive?
That was in Connecticut. Yeah.
That's coming up.
It is the Black Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to come help him,
Contact Dave White.
and it's at a BMW dealership.
It is.
Okay.
And it is great for anybody who's on the fence of saying, I don't really want to waste my time. I mean, that's not the way to look at it. It really is a good time of networking with other techs. You know, fixing dents is just a small part of the total thing. Just the exposure and doing good for your community, donating that much money and material goods via Christmas gifts for the Children's Hospital, it just makes you feel good to your soul because you spend the majority of the year serving yourself. You're not changing anybody's life by fixing a dent. In theory, maybe let's just say they listen to too much Carrie Underwood and, you know, but altogether, it's just a dent in a car. It's not like you donated a kidney. You donated bone marrow. So this really gives you a small glimmer of giving back to the community. Yeah, great time.
It wasn't last year. I guess it was the year before. I went to Jeremy Netto's in
Ohio. Toledo.
Jim White Toyota.
Yeah.
And it was great experience, awesome. Man. Really cool. If you haven't done this, it's a really cool experience to, you know, the camaraderie. Like it's a blessing to do.
Yeah, it is. And I'm making their drive out there. That one's December 13th. Making the drive, taking my son. Just a great time. Who said people? Why would you drive that far? You just don't get it. You know. So it's definitely worth it on every aspect.
So this is your second full season. What are some big things? Big takeaways, big things you've learned, things you can give to guys that are just starting out in the hail world?
I think a wise man said it best about 15, 20 minutes ago. Take out the garbage. There's no truer statement than that. I mean, when I was at that gig in O'Fallon, you know, there were top-notch guys there, and they were just launching out. Okay, I'm done here. This isn't worth my time. The damage is too bad for the money we're getting. Then they jump into another gig and realize it's the same grass. Nothing was really sticking. So a guy who's just going in and getting started, just keep your head down and just keep pushing. It's going to make you a better tech. You're still getting in the reps. You might not be making that tier one money that you think you deserve, but that'll come in time.
Were you plugging my company there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All royalties wire them to my account.
Do you only go to jobs that are tier one pay? That's what you're saying.
Yeah. No.
The lower level jobs are
Not true.
no tier two jobs for you.
No, I was actually thinking about it when you were telling your story. Is like how quickly the one car driving a day to do one car. Like, I mean, I would think that that's decent money in the grand scheme of things. But it's just putting days together, cars together, weeks together, months together, and all of that stacks up. I mean, I think if you're just going to sit on your couch and wait for your phone to ring, which probably isn't going to ring, like you just sit there and go broke. So yeah, taking the one car and driving 15 hours out of your way, I mean, I'm probably not going to do that.
He's tier one.
Tier one.
There's a time and a place for everything.
Call Tony.
No, there is a time and a place for it.
There
I mean, it's who's calling, you know, what kind of, I mean, for me, like I've been burned on that a bunch. You know, you go to a dent wizard job and you have some manager who you know, I drove 17 hours one way to Illinois to do a body shop, and I show up and there's 2 cars, and they're like, yeah, a quarter mile down the road, there's a parking lot and an oak tree. Pull them under there and start working. I'm like, that's exactly what I said. How do you know? I was like, not going to happen. And
Oak tree, quarter mile down the road.
yeah. So handed them the keys back, and I was like, okay, see you later. Drove back to Atlanta. Yeah, less than 24 hours. So anyway, it's who you're doing it for.
Yeah. And I mean, there's opportunity out there where maybe the money isn't that great, but the experience. And when I went down to Texas, the money was good, but I had the opportunity to work with a rock star, and it was a dream come true. You know, because I remember meeting Paul LaPutra, you know, a good friend of yours, and I guess everybody knows him. He says he is this machine and this phantom that everybody. When I was in the toy drive at Toledo, guys were whispering his name. And I'm like, yeah, I've met Paul before. Yeah, but have you heard? And I'm like, tell me, what? It was just, whether it be how fast he was or maybe potentially how much money they thought he made. And all these things where I'm just like, I don't know any of that stuff. I just know he is just a machine. And so when he called me and said, hey, we got the storm. Would you want to come to Texas? I'm like, dude, I am all in, you know?
Tell us about this.
Oh, man. Well, let me just first by saying everything that they say about Paul is absolutely true. He is the nicest, most Christopher Allen, they're probably tied for how nice they are. But Paul LaPutra is the nicest, most humble, easygoing, genuine dude on the face of the planet. He's just a great all-around guy. And I get there, and he was very, okay, man, let's see what you can do. I'll do the really bad damage. And when it was really bad, it was smoked. You know,
Texas.
Yeah. And so he wasn't putting me on anything that I couldn't handle. And then other things would ease me into it. And there was that gauge of him working alongside him saying, okay, yeah, that's good. So just do this, tweak this, move your light here. Watch how I do this. And that dude was just blowing through stuff. He was fast. Like, I know it was hot in that shop, and he's walking around. It was 100 degrees.
He says he likes it hot in the shops.
Oh yeah, dude, it's no joke. Like Matt says, how hot his shop is. Now this is like a meat cooler compared to his shop down in Texas. It was. I remember working one day, and I'm like, it must be 105 in here. He's like, it's not that hot. I'm like, dude, it's over 100.
Metal building?
It's not. Yeah. And so I went to Home Depot that night and I got a temperature, thermometer. And I hung it right on right on the wall, and I would just watch it. I'd get to the shop, it's like 85, and then by 10 o'clock, it's just like this. I'm scanning.
And what did it get to?
At the fan where I was 103.
Oh my god.
119 on the doors.
Inside in the shade.
119 on the doors.
No.
The car was 105. The ground was 97.
Ooh.
And I got 2 fans on me, and I'm just roasting. He walks in, like cools a cucumber.
It's an air fryer.
Dude. And they're interesting enough, there are dudes I'd go like every day like clockwork. I just need a break, get a cold drink, go to the gas station where they have like these just air conditioners, and there's guys walking in long denim shirts and wool hats
In Texas.
In Texas. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm like shorts, not a wife beater, but I'm if I could walk around in a Speedo all day and not get weird looks, that would have been me. But awesome experience. It was great. He's got a really cool shop, super nice guy, loves his family, great family. And so it dried up there, and then as soon as it did, I went back to New York, where he was just stacking up cars, and just pick up where I left off. And fortunately enough, like all the previous storm damage from New York, it was starting to dry up. It hailed again, which the damage was a lot lighter. Higher dent count, but smaller dents. And I'm like, okay, this is better. Before, everything was just like, we're tired of cutting roofs off, and just fix it. And I'm like, oh man, this is tough, And you guys are used to it. You're superstars. you know? But for me, like 2 days on a roof and I'm like going cross-eyed, just trying to make it happen, as opposed to then towards the end of the season, like a car a day, a car a day, a car a day, car and a half a day. Was I think leaving Paul's gave me the confidence that I needed. Like if you can work alongside somebody like that and get those corrections or macro corrections that you need, and put everything that he says in your belt, you're just that much more well equipped.
Were there some specific like technical things that you learned from him that you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's proprietary. I don't think he'd want me to share it. No, not off the top of my head. I just know every day there was something. Well, no, just the small things, very small things. I mean, people would say you're just hard on everything, whether it be the firearms, PDR stuff. I mean, I just break it all. Nothing. Hey, I should start an R&D company. Not R&B, like R&D, research and development, and just say, hey, give me your stuff. I'll try it out for 6 weeks and tell you if it's really going to before you put it to market. I mean, I'm just blowing through tabs, just smack, pop. And I'm like, what the heck? And Paul's like, hey, man, just use less glue. And I'm like, I can't use any less glue. He's like, no, just use less glue. And to this day, I haven't broken a single glue tab.
Wow.
You know? And I'm just like... And it was just little tweaks that simple. He's like, hey, bro, let me show you something. And he would just jump in there. And I'm like, oh, okay. I totally get it now. You know, right? Hey, man, come over here. I want you to look over my shoulder and just watch. And he's just, and dude, we're talking about like this softball-sized dent. And he's just like, now watch this. I'm about to make my move. And you're just like, oh my gosh, that was like 45 seconds. And you just glassed that dent. He's just an animal. He's like, I didn't even have to drop the headliner. He's just awesome. Awesome in every way. And if you know and if you ever talk to him, he's just always mellow. That's just him in a nutshell. You know? So just a good dude to be around.
That dude grinds.
Yes, he does. And I think he wouldn't mind me sharing this, the reason why he has been so successful is because even working for Dent Wizard, he treated it as if it was his own company.
Sure.
And so then coming out of Dent Wizard, he never missed a beat. And he most definitely grinds. And I think a lot of people, especially the younger generations that might not have that work ethic, just want stuff handed to them all the time. And they're like, well, why can't I be making this kind of money or have these opportunities? Dude, he would tell me stories of just like, taking hoods home and working on them while his kids are in front of the TV and bringing them back. And that's how you get ahead, you know?
The dude was top biller forever. Now he's got his own shop and he still brings hoods home and does it in front of his TV in his living room.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do that, but he grinds.
Grinds.
He grinds.
Yeah.
A good dude. Good dude.
Yeah. Very solid guy.
Yes.
I never worked with Paul. I only worked around Paul because before he was in Texas, he was in Denver, and he was at the rentals out there. And so we would go out to the rentals. Did you ever go?
Not out there when he was
So
there.
we'd be at the same facility, but he'd be in a different area where we were because he was a full-time rental guy, so he had his own bay, whereas we would just come in and do random lots of cars. And so they would just put us somewhere else. So I never got to work with Paul. I've only worked, at the same place. But
Yeah.
definitely a guy I'd like to work with. Man, I haven't done production hail, like where you got to be fast in a while. I mean, we get hail that comes through here, but I usually give it to my guys, or now lately I've been giving it to Deacon. So I haven't been on a job where I have to be fast in a long time, or I have to be conscious of that in a long time. So I'd be interested to see.
Yeah. I mean, I had an opportunity to work along with Pay, and that, again, this was like the dream come true year of like a guy like me working alongside all these other dudes was just like, I remember working at a job with Pay last year and say, can I convince this guy, can I pay him to just watch him on 2 cars and see how he moves, what he does, and what his MO is? And then to be able to work with him for a couple weeks was just super awesome.
So if you think about like sports, let's just say football, you can watch a guy do his job, a quarterback or whatever, and you can watch what they do, and you can learn from that. You know, if you were wanting to be a quarterback, you could study tapes, you could do all that stuff. Like our industry is really niche, but it is also a high performance type of thing where it's an individual high performance thing that you don't know. There's not tapes of me fixing cars that you could go back and watch, right? And so the ability to watch somebody, I think, is underrated, and it would yield good results if you were to do that, right? Because there are these little nuances, probably like in football or something, where how the guy holds this or does this or whatever it is could make or break. Just like you said, the little things. When you're learning PDR, like you're learning like generically, right? And then as you develop as a technician, we're all doing the same generic thing, you know what I mean? But we're all doing lots of little tiny things differently that are going to make you faster or slower or efficient or not. I mean, I saw that 100% in my time when I was chasing hail. And I literally tried to be a student of everyone that was around me, watching them, how they did things, because there's just a ton of value in that if you're paying attention.
I think that kind of came naturally, wouldn't you say? Like, I don't remember, like, so I remember in 2013 we showed up at the body shop, and I've never, to this day, I haven't seen this many guys in a shop, but me, Matt, and Will were the first guys there. And
was there 12 guys at that shop?
Yeah, 12 or 13 guys in this body shop. And I would say it was a big body shop, but I wouldn't say 13 guys big.
It was an Abra. It was just a shop. It wasn't like a hub or nothing. It was just a normal body shop. But Atlanta got smoked that year. So that was like record amount volume of hail. It wasn't just like one side of town. It was like all of Atlanta. So just like everywhere, guys were working. I mean, so there was a lot of hail. And it was the first job of the year. And so first job of the year, good damage, high populated, high dense, and it was just everybody. So they were just packing technicians in everywhere they could fit them. So that's...
Yeah. But kind of to the point, what you asked me is like, how do you stand out? So we didn't know anyone. Like we hadn't even gone to a Dent Wizard meeting with hail guys at this point. So we show up and we didn't know who was corporate, who was, an independent guy. And so we're the first 3 in this shop, and like it was just crazy. I mean, cars coming in with busted sunroofs and windshields, and we're just like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do? And I remember staying in there till, I don't know, midnight some nights, just kind of like what you said, like I got to get the reps in. I have to get behind the tool in order to fix this.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, being on a production job, I mean, you're just kind of,
I think,
trying to mimic the guys that you've heard about.
And I think there's a reality,
because no one's showing you.
Right.
No one's coming. No one's losing a car or even have a car to come over and, hey, you're doing your light wrong.
Right. There's a reality.
They're just laughing
to that
at you.
Yeah, they're like, oh gosh.
Yeah. It's like, let's go back to like the early 2000s where guys were making like, $600,000 just riding a skateboard, and you'd watch like Eric Reynolds and like 12 set frontside flip. Like you watch it, you're like, I'm gonna go do that, and you get a 6-step and you just roll your ankle, right? There's a reality of like, I can't do that yet, and I still need to work my way up in baby steps, even though they make it look so easy. They're so proficient. They're not even breaking a sweat. This is boring to them. and they're just blasting through stuff. Just another full phone conversation, texting at the same time, and just working it. And hey, can you move that light? Yep, right there. And then when you put yourself in, okay, if I just mimic what they're doing, it doesn't work that way. You really need to build up to that level to do that. And like you were saying earlier, what are they seeing that I'm not? You know, there's a whole skill set just to the eyes alone. You know, Paul, one of the small things that Paul told me is he's just like, I try to get to that lowest plane as fast as I possibly can. I'm not trying to work up high. I get it, and then I get low, and then glass it that much faster. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, because there's a lot of guys that just stay high. Yeah, it looks good. And then the QC process comes around. They're like, circles, circles, circles. I'm like, these guys are tough. So, yeah.
I bet. So I think I've said it on this podcast before, but my brother Chad, he's been chasing Hill for a while. But after he did the first year where he worked with you, Matt. But then after he had a year after that, so a full year, he came and helped me with some hail, and he was better than me at hail.
Yeah.
It was incredible how fast that happened, where I have never put the time and the reps in. So you might have already surpassed my speed and proficiency with hail.
I think a lot of that is how hungry are you, right? If you have the opportunity to say, hey, if you can control that floodgate, the cars are coming in New York, it is just me in this shop. And I have the keys to the shop, and I've got the time. I'm already away from my family 7 days a week, 14-hour days, and we're going to figure this out.
You should just get a cot in the shop.
You know what? I thought about that multiple times, but then I'll just
cut your expenses down.
You know, we've talked about like, what would you do? Like, don't. We need to have a conversation about don'ts.
Okay.
Don't bring a cot to work. Like, don't.
Well,
be that guy.
if you have it put up before everyone gets there.
Well, I mean, I think you do need a disconnect, because I had the opportunity to stay on site.
And you need to shower.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Adult diapers, that's a bad idea.
Dang. I never even thought about that.
Yeah. There's a fine line of being a machine and then still being a human. And if you don't have that human element, then you'll watch the rest of your life fall apart.
How much do you think it is, like, because I remember, like, when I was at the rentals, like, we would get hail cars coming in there quite often, and it was literally to the point where the manager would have to come out and, like, mark with, like, tape, this is your section that you have to fix, that's your section you have to fix, and so on and so forth, because we were like, I don't want to do it. But at the time, we had, like, a reflection board, and like Dent Wizard was handing out these, like, you know, little 12-inch cigarette lighter, you know, bulb lights that you got to drag all over the car, and the suction cup never works and it scratches the paint. And so, like, at that time, I don't know of anything else. Like, I know that they had like some fluorescent lights at the time that you had to plug into an outlet. And I remember using Jeff's before I really went on the hail team. Like, I don't know anything different. And so about the time we went on the hail team, I don't know when MTE started coming around, but that's like, I remember going to MTE, and it's like, I think Stuckey had like maybe the first battery powered like little mini light. And it was like, oh my gosh, how much is it? Like, doesn't matter. Just, I'll take it, because it was like game changing to me at the time.
I think the first lights we got were the ultra lights. I think that's the most commercially available, most popular lights that during our time coming into the hillside was these ultra ones that were bulb, and then they, like, immediately we were right where they were converting to LED.
Yeah.
So I think one of them, one I had was a bulb one, and one I had was LED or something. But and then we ended up working in Minneapolis down the road from Pro PDR, and that's when I got my first my good light from Bill Hewlett. He hand delivered that to to the Metro Ford dealership that we were working.
Yeah. That's probably a whole nother podcast, that deal.
Yeah, but yeah, lights were yeah, they were just, there was that right when everything was changing over. I mean, because I never used one on route ever. I mean, they were just inefficient back then. I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to Deacon or something when we were talking about lights, because and I was like, man, I was so much faster. Like, who wanted to bring out a 4-foot Home Depot fixture fluorescent
Plug into
light
the wall
with a box of bulbs.
with a box of bulbs in the back, and the route guys I knew running extension cords. They had to park by power or run an extension cord. It's like, dude, those guys are freaking slow. Nobody's running down lanes at auctions doing that fast. You got reflection boards. You're the fast, efficient guys. The fast, efficient guys were not using lights in my world. And then you go to another world where fast, efficient guys are using the lights. But it was right when all that was getting off a plug and the batteries and LEDs and no more fluorescence. So it was a good time. And mini lights, yeah, I think Stucky did his mini light, which we had him on. He talked about that timeline too. But yeah.
So Matt, we got some big product coming out.
We do.
You want to get into that?
Yeah. So next month we're going to SEMA, which is a dream come true for me. I've been thinking about going to SEMA my entire life. I've always been into cars, and SEMA's been like that unattainable thing. And so we're going to SEMA this next month with Kiko, and revealing a new stand that we did with them, which is a body panel repair stand. So that will be revealing. We've already started revealing little snippets of it on social media, and then it was at the Advanced Skills Seminar at Anson this month, that they hosted it, and we brought our stand, and they did repairs on our stand. So a lot of big players got to see it and work with it and get to use it. And so
What'd they think of it?
Absolute love everything I've heard is only good. And so amazing feedback.
So is this just another hood stand? Like what is this thing? So
if we can stay with the kind of the history of PDR, which we've dabbled in a little bit. So like if you could look at like history of PDR, and I'm going to sum it up really fast, but like hail has been wholesale, or like rental and hail have been the main drivers of PDR, which of getting it to what it is now. Like hail is probably the biggest portion financially. Hail pushes everything, all the tools. Hail is at least the biggest market from the tool side of things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's the biggest driver. And so if you look back at hood stands were made for hail guys that travel the world, or travel the U.S. at least, in their pickup trucks, and they're going to set up quickly at these different places and work on hoods and trunks, but it needs to accommodate a hood. And so we made our hood stands to be able to do that.
Lightweight, mobile,
Quick,
easy to set up,
quick and easy to set up.
Yep.
Packs down in your truck really easy, like low footprint, low signature, and they've done. There's tremendous ones out there that do that amazing. I mean, the Carbon Tech is the best one that does exactly that I know of. Like it's just like it's a checks all the boxes for what a traveling hail guy needs. But then you have this evolution of PDR where we are doing that still. But now you have these guys that are doing paintless collision repair, larger damage, and they have standalone shops now, like we have here. And those hood stands that check all the boxes for the traveling hail guy don't check all the boxes for a guy with a shop. Lightweight, I have no value on lightweight. Now I need something that's sturdy and solid, and probably on the heavier side to accommodate sturdy and solid. And then I don't care about it breaking down. I'm going to leave it up. I'll never break it down potentially, unless you got a small shop, you need to move it out of your way. But even that you could probably get around. But like, I don't need it breaking down. I don't need it lightweight. And even the shape of it, you know, the square shape was designed because of the way that it folds down, you know, the function of it as for a hood. And so I don't necessarily need a square. So what we did is I kind of threw all that in the trash, and I said, all right, if I were to design a stand to repair not only hoods, but any panel that I have in my shop, because in my shop we have tailgates, we have transit and sprinter doors and slider doors that we're pulling off. We're doing heavy hatches. We're doing doors. I mean, I'm pulling off doors every week. I do more doors than I do hoods, for sure. And so, like, I don't need something that was designed for a traveling guy to do hoods. I need something designed for me. And so I kind of threw everything out and designed it specifically for if I could design my dream thing to accommodate these panels. And so we started with that. And so I went with a rectangle, and then we said, okay, well, what kind of panels I'm working on? I need to accommodate every type of panel. And so we wanted to make it really versatile, that it could move and accommodate whatever we're going to put on it. And so that's what we did. And so we wanted something that's very sturdy, very solid. When you're pushing, just my experience, I want every bit of energy or force going into the dent. I don't want anything moving. And for me, zero movement annoys the crap out of me. You know, if you got a blending hammer and that head's loose or the tip starts getting loose, you know how annoying that is. Like, I have to stop, and so any of those little movements like are a hindrance in my head, at least. So I wanted it just to be absolutely rock solid and zero movement, and every amount of energy or push goes into the panel, not to the wonkiness of the apparatus. And so, like, most guys you see now are doing like smash stuff on like these scissor stands that cost like $20, like
a bumper stand.
A bumper stand.
Yeah.
And they're not even good for bumpers. No, they're not. Like, what are they good for? Like, I don't know, but like they're not ideal.
Like an old A1 stand?
No,
like the body shop.
Like the body shop.
Oh yeah, with the chains.
The chains. Yes.
Like, there's literally guys all over Instagram fixing heavy smashed big dent doors on those things, and I was watching one yesterday, and every push the whole thing's just moving, and I'm like, gosh, there's a better way, man. Like, it doesn't have to be that thing. And so I basically tried to create something that would be ideal for a guy with a shop. And so that's what we did. So I don't want to bore you with going on all the details. There'll be lots of videos that show it, but we tried to create the ideal stand for repairing panels in a fixed location shop. So
it's like everything moves on it.
Everything.
The range of height is crazy. You can move things out of the way that you can't on a normal stand. There's a movable fulcrum, like
leverage point
that doesn't even move when you push on it. That's super cool to me.
It's a built-in tool stool. You know,
Yes.
another product of ours that we had, it was the tool stool, and that came out of necessity at BMW where we were at, and we were, at the BMW store, we were ripping the bottom of hoods because you got the aluminum and you got an S hook, and you're dependent upon where the hole is and you're prying, and over time that aluminum fatigues and you rip a hole on the hood. And so I created this tool stool, which is basically a leverage point that goes on your tabletop hood stand to get you out of that. And that worked good, but hasn't been really stable. Like, the whole thing is you got to manage that as you manage your tool, and that gets tricky. So this has one built into it that you don't have to manage. It's just rocks, fixed, doesn't move. You can lock it in where you want, and you can move it anywhere, like an XY axis on the thing, that you can put it anywhere you want and lock it, and it's there. So like that's not necessarily efficient for doing hail to move that every time. But like if you're doing paintless collision repair where you have one huge body line dent, you set that up and it's going to live there until the repair is done, more than likely, right? So again, it's designed for paintless collision repair. And so...
And it has a motorcycle tank mount on the side that
you can
articulates.
Mount. We have it. We wanted it to, being the stable platform that it is, we wanted to be able to accommodate not just car panels, but motorcycle panels. And so it'll fit. You can definitely mount I haven't tried a fender. I know it will work, but I haven't done a fender yet.
Yeah.
But it does tanks tremendously. Not all tanks. There's a lot of variety of tanks, just like with cars. And so, but what we've at least done is this platform. Once you have the platform, we can build any answer to anything will attach to it. So if we need to design something specifically to accommodate one specific change in a tank or something, that's easy because we already have this foundation that we can accommodate that too. So it's a stand that once you buy it, you can grow into it with things that come out later because it's
made to modify and add on to.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
can you get into there's already innovations that are happening like after the stand had been made that you came up with, or the people at Kiko, even at the advanced skill seminar, somebody said, "Hey, can we make this for that?" And you were like, oh, "Yes."
Yeah. So we've already been able to incorporate it being a pull tower, which is tremendous. So you can put a vacuum plate on it and you can vacuum it to the ground. And so once you vacuum it to the ground, it will absolutely not move. And we've already done large perpendicular pulls from a car, like pulling like a pull tower. And it is probably one of the most stable pull towers out there with the way that its shape lends to being more stable than a pull tower. And so it's very stable. You're probably not going to get the amount of energy out of the pull, but from a stable, like a thing is awesome. So it can be a pull tower. I've already played with incorporating lateral tension in the stand. So the stand being the lateral tension device that can open up the damage. So that is a thing. And then at the advanced skills seminar, Bryce was like, "Hey, I want to build a tool bender that mounts to it, and so you can bend your tools." And I'm like, easy.
He doesn't have his master anymore.
No.
But for those of you that don't know what a master is, it's a tool that Dent Wizard gave us. And it's what you bent every tool in your arsenal with.
Only up to like 3/8 though. Like if you're bigger tools, you're not gonna. But so we're gonna like build a tool bender that can bolt to it, and so it's just the sky's the limit with what you can do with it as far as like once you even have this foundation, what you can build off of. So it's. I'm going to tell you, and I'm 100% transparent. I'm not trying to be a shill or something, but like we have this Rivian. I just got mine here 2 weeks ago, and I had a Rivian come in that was a really big deer hit job, so both doors had to come off. And me and Salo were both working on it, and so I put the first door on the new panel stand.
This was your claim connection job?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I put my first panel on that and set Salo up, and was like we got him going on that. And then we spent about a day on that together. And then I'm like, okay, day 2, I got to get going on the back door. And so I pulled the back door off and put it on my old stand. And I was already spoiled. I was like, this is stupid. And I literally waited till he got done with the other stand to take it off to finish. Because I was like, I'm not going to do this again. Like, I can't go backwards now, like mentally. Like, because once I put on the other stand, I was trying to get solutions for leverage and things. And I've already made the solutions in the new stand, and I was like, I'm not going to do all this again. I've already created all these solutions. Like,
so you need 2.
It was just. I was like, so I was
twin pack, buy one get one.
Yeah, you can. We'll say as many as you want. But so anyway, it was just like, I'm already spoiled to it.
Yeah.
Like it was like, hey, I'm not gonna do not these complex repairs. I mean, we still have our others. I got a few stands. I will obviously still use those and keep them. But like, you have to like, this is made for bigger damage. It has solutions for problems of repairing bigger damage built into the stand that other ones don't have. And so once you kind of see it, you're like, yeah, this is dumb. I'm not going backwards. The technology's there. It exists now. I don't have to, bang rocks together to create fire again. I have a freaking lighter. I'm not going to do that. So
That's good.
yeah. And so just to answer the question, I have no idea how much it is yet, and I have no idea when it's going to be released yet. I do know it will be at SEMA, and I imagine we will have some answers in the booth to those two questions, or at least, even if the answer is there's no answer, we're going to have some more information at SEMA. But if I were to guess, and this would be just completely, me ripping something out of the air, I would guess it would be available by the end of the year, at least by MTE. That should be available to purchase, if that were me to take an uneducated guess.
And have we nailed down a name for this thing?
At the current moment, it's just called the Dent Slayer stand.
And that's what Kiko wanted.
That's
me and you. We were going around and around for weeks.
We tried
We were in the Chat GPT deep, trying to figure out.
We got really creative with it, but
all these military names.
What were the top three?
One of them was the Stronghold, and then Chat GPT will like give you all these, like slogans and features that you can highlight. Because we were trying to do, the Stronghold. What was another one?
So like in the military, they have acronyms for everything, like, LAV and all these things. And so I was like, all right, let's do that. And so
Battle Station was one.
I wrote down all the terms that it is. And so we came up with the Viper stand.
Viper. Yes.
Because it was a
VIPR.
versatile panel repair stand.
VPR, yep.
And so I was like, okay, that's
where we were leaning.
That's the best that we got for the moment. And then Kiko came back and we're like, we just like Dent Slayer stand. And we're like, I'm not going to argue that with you. So that's what it is at the moment.
Yeah.
So, but it's great. And so me and James have already recorded a good video showing all the features about it. Like a lot of the features that you guys are probably wanting to know about. And so James is
currently editing
he's on task to have that edited for us, probably
before SEMA.
Probably by SEMA.
Yeah.
So but once you have, I'm already getting guys telling me like, oh my gosh, this thing is awesome. We haven't even shown the features of it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like that's just basically off of like the visual what they've seen it do statically, not dynamically of what I made it to do.
I'll say when I saw it in person, it was way better than it seemed. All the details were what kind of stood out to me. The things that you touch, a lot of them are soft touch. Things are powder coated. There's just so much detail that's gone into it. There's places where metal on metal shouldn't touch, so there's plastic pieces. So just everything just seems like it's very well done and very thought through. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
And that's a testament to Kiko.
Yeah.
And that's specifically to Reggie and Chris Lawson. Those are the engineer guys.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to anyone else at Kiko. I'm just talking about those guys specifically. I was working hand in hand with, and those guys are just awesome individuals. And when you see them in their skill set, because they're not PDR guys, they're engineers. And so like I got to go there and spend days with them and see what they're doing. And like that dude can do on a computer, like engineering and CAD wise. Like I was like, oh my gosh, it's really sad. It's like watching someone do a backflip on a dirt bike. You're like, that's something so far out of my reach, I will never attain it. And I just have to know that that's just my life, is I'll never be able to do that thing. when I watched Chris Lawson manipulate the stuff on the CAD machine, because I've like had thoughts about taking classes to learn CAD. It's probably like good luck getting to that level, because he's an expert. And when I see him, I'm like, that's what I want to do. But I'm like, I respect the fact that I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do what he does. Like, it's just the amount of hours and devotion to that skill set and craft. It's stupid of me to think that I could do what he does. I mean, they're just absolutely amazing. So that goes into the creation of the stand. You know, I was that guy connecting things together like this, and they go design something, and it's just beautiful. And it was those guys are amazing. So
That's good.
you'll see it. You'll see
Yeah.
it at when we release the video. We made a nice good video to show all the little features and all those specific details we're talking about. And so it's the nicest thing that's ever had a Dent Slayer name on it, for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you use Claim Connection for that Rivian? They helped you get some good money for that thing?
They did. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I mean, if you guys have any experience with this, with the hail side of things, but now that you are doing your own deals, but like you basically given your estimate, and they will rewrite it for you and find money that you're leaving on the table. And I think I said some numbers on the last podcast. I won't say them again. I don't want to get that specific, but like what I wrote it for, they got me more money for than what I wrote it for. And that's only because they know what I should be owed for that thing. It's not because they're doing something malicious or something nefarious. They're just like,
They know things you don't know.
they know things you don't know. I mean, so they're an expert in what they do. I'm an expert in the fixing of the dents. They're an expert of the on that side of it. And
I'm
so
an expert in my opinion.
you hire them to do the thing for you, and so they do it very well. And so that was a job that I got paid really good on, and I don't have to deal with an adjuster. Like, I'm just like, I didn't have to. I sent them my estimate, and then I went back to my cave and fixed my dents while they did all that, prepped it all, and then they basically said, "Hey, it's ready. You can schedule it, and the check is in the mail." Like, easy.
What's the turnaround time on something like that?
So it really depends on the kickback they're getting, how much back and forth you got to do with the adjuster, if they want to give you a hard time. And then also how intricate it is, how involved the repair is. So, I mean, I would say it could be fairly quick, or it could also be 3-4 days. I don't think it's, I don't know really. For me, I'm not in a high volume where that matters, where you would be. I'm more in a, like, I'm just going to send it off and it comes back when it comes back. And, so I haven't really paid attention to that, but I would say I don't think I've had one take longer than a week. But I'm not, that's fine, because I'm probably going to order parts for it that are going to take longer anyhow. And then I'm probably scheduled out more than 2 weeks anyhow, so I don't need it faster. So it's been within a reasonable time that has been a no factor for me.
Is this something that body shops can use as well?
100%.
Do you know? Okay.
Well, body shops will probably be doing it. So
Themselves.
yeah, so like,
Yeah, well, the reason I ask is because, like, I was in a shop and I was there roughly 45 days, and the first car I wrote is the last car I fixed, and it was a State Farm car. It took 45 days for them to approve this car.
No way.
Yep. It was like $12,000 or something. And the shop was, I'm checking with them every 3-4 days. Hey, what's the word? What's the word? Like, I don't know. Still in review. So I'm just wondering if a company like that eliminates
That's cool.
all of the whatever State Farm's doing.
I would say no, and I don't mean that. I would say that's probably just a lag on State Farm or the high volume situation. Maybe they just got a ton of claims where maybe my area, there's guys twiddling their thumbs. maybe that's more of a factor. I don't know, and I'm not trying to take anything from Claim Connection. I don't think that they've got some magic wand that they can pull out and make timelines go from 45 days to 3. But I think also knowing, so there is this part. If I just send something in Mobile Tech RX that's written, which I love Mobile Tech, but Mobile Tech is like one language, right? And if I send that to a adjuster, his system doesn't know that language. So he has to physically go in and type out everything that I did, whereas an estimate that they write, that's what they're doing. It's called translation, because they translate it over into their language so that they can read it easier and it's less work for them. And so it's easier for them to approve or finalize an estimate because they don't have to manually input a bunch of bull crap that they don't want to do on their evening. So it's like if they can just drag it and put it over and look at it and be like, sure, approve, that's faster than them weeding through every freaking dime, nickel, quarter, 6 to 15, 31 to 50, blah, 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 and putting it all in. And then, so, and also if it speaks their language or it's translated correctly, then there's more of a justification for them because they also have to justify it to their bosses and to blah, blah, blah. And so there's less delay for them. So maybe that's that. But if you're at a body shop, they would probably be doing that anyhow because they're writing it in CCC, or Mitchell or something. So I don't know the answer to that question fully. That would be for them. But I would imagine there are some elements to being more professional and proficient that would lend to that being better. But I don't know. When we set out to make the first simple, effective two glue system, we knew we had to make an amazing hail glue. It sets quick, holds really strong, and lets go when you need it to. And let me just say, our hail glue absolutely rips through hail damage. Another goal for our hail glue, it had to deliver effective, reliable pulls for route techs out there making it happen in the streets during the cold months. Part of our two glue system, whatever the weather, Thin Slayer has you covered. This glue was only made possible by our relationship with Anson. You can find the glue on their website, as well as some of the other leading tool companies' websites.
We're doing some tutorial videos for Mobile Tech RX, and so I'm learning some new things that I didn't know before about the Mobile Tech RX software. And this would be interesting if you guys know. Have you used the Extreme Hail Estimator on Mobile Tech RX?
The category, or
So it's a different price guide. So let's say you're saying like Paul fixed like a 5-incher on a roof. So you price out the roof with everything up to oversized on your normal matrix, your normal hail price guide. Then you back out of that. Let's say it's like 2025 hail matrix, and you go to Extreme Hail Estimator, and then all it is a single dent estimator, so that you can put a whole nother price on that one dent. And so you just go to it, and you slide over to the diameter of it, and the depth, is it shallow, medium, deep, and then you have a whole nother line item for that one dent.
Really?
And it lists it out. So if you go to print preview, it just shows everything, and you can line item the dents that are kind of outside of the standard regs, oversized.
So you're basically pricing a dent per panel, climate specific.
Yeah, so like let's say there's 50 half dollars, 2 oversized, and then 1 monster. So everything will be 50.
I call that 6 double oversized.
Well,
Well, that's how you have to write it
Right.
to get approval.
so if now you don't have to do that. You can make it more accurate, and you go into that extreme hail estimator, and then just put all the single dents that are crazy, take too much time or whatever, and you can put them on that, and then it'll line item that one dent. Yeah,
Pretty easy to navigate through.
very easy.
Okay.
It's very similar to like the normal like Paul Corden retail price guides, where it's just size, depth, and then you can also toggle aluminum, glue pull. You know, you can toggle all those things to create a price for that one monster hail dent. Do you know about that? Pretty cool.
No, I'm not.
I learned it.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I mean, and just to be honest, we don't have monster hail here in Jacksonville.
Thank the Lord.
But I mean, I've been in places that they do, and it's usually off matrix. I mean, so I could see where that would be.
So yeah, that's a good way to say it. If it's off matrix, if it's off the chart, this kind of gives you something to work with to put a price on it.
Yeah, so usually when it's off matrix, you just go by replacement costs. And so that's when, if you're in Tony or Mark's situation where you don't know, if you don't have access to know what, if you're pricing, if every panel on the car is off matrix except for like the quarters or the doors or something, if the panels that matter, like the hood and the roof and the trunk or something, you're like, so now you're trying to find what is the value of this, because you don't know it priced out. My chart doesn't tell me. And so, and a hood on a Subaru or a roof, let's say a roof on a Subaru Outback is going to be drastically different price than a roof on a 4Runner, right? And so you need to price it accordingly. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and do a 4Runner roof for Subaru prices. You want to get 4Runner money for the 4Runner roof. And so that's where translating the estimate to these people type of businesses would they know that information, and so they can make sure that you're getting what you should for that panel or that it would hold. But I would imagine the extreme hail estimator would accommodate that as well.
Pretty cool. Just Texas guys need to look into that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that something that's going to be accepted by insurance companies though, as a standard? You think?
I don't know. I haven't submitted it to an insurance company, but it does kind of just justify your price instead of just like you're saying, just saying this many double oversized, and then if they come look at it or whatever,
Yeah,
that's not what it.
squirrely.
Yeah, so this makes it to where it's accurate, is exactly what's on there. Yeah.
So what are you doing for mobile tech? You said you're doing a video?
tutorial videos on like how to do different things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to talk about that we didn't talk about?
Still confused on where babies come from.
Okay. Well,
I've seen it
the
twice.
mommy
but
and the daddy love each other. You've seen it twice.
Well,
What have you seen?
I've seen where
Wait, don't tell us what
see
you've
it or
seen.
were you part of it?
both. I was a participating member with lots of practice.
I think Matt was going to tell a story, but I'm not sure what the statute of limitations is on.
On what you reimbursing me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
For my gun.
Oh,
Oh, is that the story you're
This
talking
a
about?
story?
it was not on the reimbursement. It's the same story. Not on.
But he
what
wants you
I
to
owe
leave
you.
out the stuff he doesn't like. He doesn't want people to know
Of him
about
doing it?
No, we're past the statute of limitations for sure.
All right, I guess
Let's
we're
hear
talking about what he.
Yeah. Story to close it out. I like this.
Well, he's. I don't
a
have a
childhood
great memory
story?
for childhood stories. Meaning, like,
If he messes it up, Mark, just
no, he's gonna
flame him.
add to it,
Yeah.
right? So it'll be better than if I was just to do it. 'Cause
Yes.
but All I remember is when we grew up, my dad built this amazing treehouse. My dad can build anything, and he built this treehouse. It wasn't connected to a tree, but it was more of a fort on stilts. Let's call it that.
A desert treehouse.
It was a fort on stilts.
Okay.
And so it was basically like a small mini house.
It was a mini house. Like, it had shingles on top. It wasn't like a fort. Like,
Yeah, it had shutters, had a front door that locked, and like a ladder that went
Deadbolt?
up. And, it was just a little
latch.
hook latch.
Yeah, that wouldn't float these days. You'd be paying taxes on that.
Oh, this was sick, and had out the side it had swings, that you could swing off of, and like it was a legit thing. And so it had the the windows like you would see like in where they push out and they open.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
like a stick that holds it out,
Yes.
but then you can pull it closed. Well, it's all over our neighbor's yard, so like we had a privacy fence, and they had a dog that his name was Moose.
Ooh.
And he was
a chow.
He was a chow with a black tongue. And
Confirm?
Positive. Yes.
and
100%.
if anything that went over the fence never came back.
That was always like the thing, when you're playing ball in the backyard and like it goes over, you're like, who's getting it?
Yeah. I think he took our shoes a few times off our feet coming back across the fence.
a little segue. When a ball did go over there, it was much like Sandlot.
You had to
you would
time
go
it.
over and you would like slowly climb down on the other side, and then you would like kind of drop just like a little bit to see if he heard you.
Any motion?
And then you would get halfway. But what you didn't know is once you got halfway, your brother or your friend is banging on the fence to get Moose all riled up. So you would get the ball or not and have to get back before you get your feet.
Oh, my goodness.
These people that lived next door to us were hillbillies. And they were bad
Oh, yeah.
hillbillies.
Bad.
And I'm not going to use their last name because just out of respect for them.
Yeah.
But they have become their last name has become a curse word in our family. And
Confirmed?
Yeah. Or
I'll-
derogatory word.
Yeah, derogatory, not a curse word. Their uncle, whose name was Buck, who he lived on the front porch. That's where he lived.
100%.
An open. When I say front porch, I mean it was like open, not
Like a carport.
not
There's
enclosed.
no porch to it. It was a carport with a couch underneath it.
That's where he lived, like every day. Don't
He
look at me
slept
like
there?
I'm exaggerating
Oh,
because
100%.
I'm
Yeah.
not exaggerating.
He was
He
like
slept there. That was his room.
Yes, that's what I
Yes.
said. He lived there.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah, yeah. So they
nothing like the movie though.
No John Candy.
No, John.
No, not that Uncle Buck. No, we're talking about like cut off jorts with the pockets hanging around the bottom.
No shirt, no shoes.
Yeah.
Florida man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it puts a bad name for Florida man. No.
Was there a bed there or just
Just
a couch?
couch.
Yeah.
Couch with the bush light.
He just
pile
tossed them over?
beside- Yeah. So I'm hoping I'm doing some really good visuals.
Oh, yeah.
Like the corner, like you had the carport, and then the fence would come up next to the carport, and then it had like the neighbor's fence. And what he's talking about, the bush lights, they would just get thrown into the corner, and so it just stacked up to the top of this chain link fence with just
because they recycled.
At some point.
Because the city gave you like a little 5-gallon recycle bin, and it just it gets full.
They were into recycling and yeah. No, but so in the backyard they had a bunch of broken down cars and big area for chickens that Moose couldn't get to.
No.
It was fenced off.
It was a little separate, but they had chickens. And so a lot of broken down cars that were never ever going to see the engine turn over again.
I know where this is going.
I don't mean like nice cars. I mean like junk yard cars, right? And then a bunch of chickens that we would buy eggs for them. I'm sad to say we would buy their eggs and eat them. But
Yeah, his wife, not Buck's wife, but
he was the uncle. He was the brother of the owner of the house.
Yeah.
So, but his wife, her name was Faye. Mm-hmm. She sold chicken eggs. She was illiterate, but she sold. she sold
Like
it.
legit.
Legit.
Yeah.
She could hustle some chicken eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this conversation between Buck and Faye and the brother? Hey, I'm on hard times. Can I come stay with y'all? Well, yeah, but you can't stay in the house. You can stay in the carport.
I think.
Okay, I'll do that.
12 years later.
I think the reason he never got invited into the house because he was always peeing on himself. He was always wet.
Like just pissed drunk.
Literally pissed drunk.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they loved him enough to let him hang out.
They put shelter over his head, not walls around him.
You get shelter and bush light. That's it. Anything else?
Wow.
We sound like horrible people, I think.
Well, no, I think they're all dead, so we can talk about it.
My goodness, you
It
sound
is
worse now, Matt.
It is a tragic story. I won't go into it, but it is a tragic story how they all passed. But
So
I want to watch a reality TV show about these people.
bro, it would be X-rated.
it's the whole block. It's like a block party.
Yeah. When we set out to create our own collision glue, we had two goals in mind. Our number one priority, make the absolute best collision glue on the planet. Dent Slayer collision glue holds stronger and longer and has everything you need to deliver world-class results on smashed panels. Our second priority, this glue had to absolutely rip for route techs in warm climates. And believe me, it does. It delivers reliable, strong pulls in the heat and keeps you very efficient out there on the streets. Part of our two glue system, whatever the weather, Dent Slayer has you covered. This two glue system was only made possible through our relationship with Anson. You can find it on their website, as well as the other major leading PDR tool companies' websites. The lady across the street, hold on, she was a big old woman, and she wore,
We called her Fat Debbie.
that was her name.
Should have called her Little Debbie.
No, bro, she was nothing little about her. She wore undergarments outside all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and not pleasantly looking, right? Like, I mean,
She was a manager of like I think it was like a Wendy's or a Hardee's or something.
really?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Eat the profits.
I remember something about her coming at somebody with an axe. That's all I remember, other than her display of, public
Flesh,
indecency.
yeah.
So this has gone off the story that we were going to tell, but we're too far deep now. So our house had like a big window that overlooked Fat Debbie's house. And her dad lived with them too. I forget his name.
Inside the house?
Bill.
Inside
He was a
the
child
house.
molester. He was a child molester.
Was it?
Dang, y'all throwing out all the dirt.
Wow,
on
Of course
these
he
neighbors.
was.
Goodness.
And his name was Bill. Her husband's name was
Wow,
Bob,
Bill.
and they were both fat. Well,
Bill and Bob and Buck. So creative with a name.
We're off the rails here.
so Bill had prostate cancer, and
Why are you laughing?
he would like walk around in a diaper.
In
And-
the outside?
Oh, yeah. Clothes were optional at their house. And so he apparently wasn't supposed to be drinking because he would pee himself.
Everybody.
I'm telling
This
you.
is a
it was-
common problem.
I know. So we're like sitting at the dinner table one night, and dinner at our house was like you show up to the table and eat. And so we have the blinds open, and we're sitting here eating dinner, and all of a sudden, like you can hear the door slam, and you see Bill running outside in his diaper, and and Fat Debbie behind him in her bra and underwear, and she's got beer, Bush Light, and she's throwing them at him as he's running out of the house. and so he's out there picking up his beer, like shoving them in his elbow.
Buck's foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, Buck wasn't even involved. And so she sees him picking up the beer, and so she's out there popping tops so he can't take them back inside. So he picks up this full bush light.
And y'all are eating dinner watching this.
Oh, yeah. At this point, we're like, me and Matt were probably like this at the window, watching. And so he picks up this full bush light and like Nolan Ryan steps into this thing and hits her square in the spine. And she just, cops show up. It's a whole thing. But that's like the excitement on like a Sunday afternoon eating dinner is watching the neighbors fight.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. That was like every weekend or every day.
But okay, back to the original
Buck.
story.
Yeah, Buck.
So
Hey.
those people live
Tree Fort.
across the street from us. Our neighbors had the junkyard in the back and the chickens. They lived next door, and you could see their junkyard from our tree house. It was like right on the property line. And so at some point, my brother thought it was a good idea. I got a BB gun. And my brother thought it was a good idea to shoot out.
Like a Red Ryder?
Yeah.
Or like a...
No, this one was a Red
So not
Ryder.
like
It was a Red Ryder.
Okay.
Or a version of like
Yeah.
a knockoff, but yeah, it was a Red Ryder. And one of the little lever action.
Yes.
And so he thought it was a good idea to shoot out some windows in the junk cars
Oh, yeah.
and or shoot the chickens.
Oh.
Oh, cluck.
And they were not happy about their windows and their junk cars being broken. And
How
so,
many windows got shot out? All of them?
As many as I could get off, as accurate as a Red Ryder is at, 25 yards, I guess.
Yeah, so he shot out a bunch of windows, and I don't know if he killed chickens. I don't know.
Definitely did. I think I killed like 3 or so.
And you're like, they're never going to know it was me.
So Jimmy, who was the owner of the house, who was the brother of Uncle Buck, the husband of Faye, he came over and was really upset. Told my dad, and my dad brought us outside and took my BB gun and just literally wrapped it around the tree. We had to, and completely bent it. And I remember I was pretty upset because I didn't do it. It was my gun, but somehow my gun got ruined in the process for Mark's punishment. And I remember thinking, like, I get it. It was bad. I mean, looking back, like, yeah, that was pretty bad. But like, they're freaking junk cars.
Yeah.
They were absolute junk cars. And, we're talking, we just painted the picture of who these people were that didn't really value things. And so I remember being a kid thinking all that, like, they don't care about this crap. Ask them
Oh, yeah.
And you don't understand as a kid, like, the consequences for your actions.
No, I mean, half the windows were probably already busted out. So I'm just like,
But then the
they'll
dead
never
chickens.
know. I think the dead chickens really just
that was their
hit them
income
in the wallet.
stream, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, you put them back.
But then, I mean, I'm thinking, you can eat them now. I've done the dirty work for you, I guess.
We had so in my backyard, our neighbors had a workshop. Like, the guy built a big shed, like a nice shed, and the sides of the roof were open, so that air could circulate. So there was a big triangle open above our privacy fence, and there was no ceiling, so that just went into the workshop, and we would throw anything in there. I mean, there's no chance it could have been anyone else but us, me and Chad. And I remember we were back there roasting marshmallows, and on some movie they were roasting marshmallows and it caught fire, and he was like trying to put it out. I think it was Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
And he slung it. And so we were like, roasting the marshmallows and trying to sling them into this thing, into this shed. And it would, but I mean, we would throw a lot of stuff in there. And as a kid, we weren't thinking like, oh yeah, they're going to know that we did this. You just don't think about that.
No.
I was like, I wonder if we can get it in there. That's what you're thinking about. I wonder if I could actually get it in there. I wonder if I could actually hit that chicken. You're not thinking they're going to know someone killed their chickens and the chickens are going to be dead.
Would catch me.
They caught you in about 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, they had a screen door on their house too, and it was like overly, like the spring on it was super heavy duty.
So it would slam.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you when the door hit, you could like it was like
Here they come, hi.
Yeah. It's like an alarm. You knew it was go time. Yeah, there's another story that Matt has about a BB gun. This is all him though. Remember who was it you were trying to shoot through the crack of the sliding glass door?
Yeah, it was my buddy Joe. I forgot about that. Well, mom and dad went out of town.
Yeah.
My parents were out of town, and it was winter or cold in Florida.
I do remember it was a Sunday.
And we were, I don't know when I don't know if I got another BB gun or is before you did it.
Yeah, this wasn't a Red Ryder. This was like a pump.
This is serious.
And I was older, so I was probably 16 or 17 because that's when I met Joe. It was after. I was in high school, so yeah, I was definitely older. So we were, I mean, even in growing up, we would go in the woods and have BB gun wars. I mean, you just try shooting each other with BB guns behind trees, like no eye protection,
I think we've done a pretty good job of laying out the kind of people that we surrounded ourselves with. So,
I remember Wade got one up underneath his fingernail.
Oh no!
BB, and it, went in like it.
Oh my goodness!
But yeah. So I remember I was in the backyard and I was trying to shoot Joe with the BB gun. And he runs inside my house, and we had a sliding back door on the back of the house. And he runs inside, and where I couldn't shoot him. And he opens up the door, and he's got his face out there, and he's taunting me. And I'm like, I pick the gun up, I'm like, pick it up.
Like 4 inches, like not his whole head. Like we're talking about like 4 or 5 inches.
Little gap. And I was probably at least 30 yards away. At least. Probably more. If I can remember visually him being like this big. Like, it was probably... And so I remember he's like, you won't freaking do it. And I was like, yes, I will. And he opened the door like 4 inches. And I was like, okay, elevation, I don't worry about. Left and right, I can do that. And so, because it's a long slit. And so I pick it up and pull the trigger, and it hits that back door, and it just instantly spider webs. I think the bullet curved. I mean, I think my aim was dead on. I think the bullet. But
could have been a bad shot.
Ballistics on a BB.
Yeah, they're not great. But I remember hit that back door, and Joe's face was like, "Oh my gosh." So what did we do? We took all the glass out, cleaned up the mess, put up some plastic and taped it over it, right? And my parents came home and found out, and it was like special order, like this thing, like this piece of glass was like a special cut thing, and you're not just gonna go get it. And we had Rottweilers at the time. We had a bunch of dogs. We had a bunch of dogs. And so what do dogs do when they want to come inside? They scratch at the back door. So they just mauled the plastic. So like the plastic didn't last, and it was winter, and we had dogs.
And we didn't have heat and AC.
We didn't get AC until, I helped my dad install the AC.
What?
Yeah, like we didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't grow up with AC?
Negative.
I was in
What?
I was
Did
able
you
to
have
help
at
him
least
with
window
power
units?
tools.
No. We had ceiling fans
No.
and space
You
heaters.
sweated out growing up?
We had space heaters, but we had like a main heater that was in the hallway. It was a
I'm
furnace.
not worried about the heat. I'm worried about the AC.
We'd go get our clothes and put them in front of the furnace and get dressed in the morning because it was warm there. But we did not grow up with central AC. Our house was built in the
50s.
well. Was that one built in the 50s?
Yeah.
But we grew up in the 80s, so that wasn't that old. But
1850s?
anyhow, they weren't designed with central heat and air. So like the attics and the spaces weren't designed to accommodate ductwork.
Yeah.
So when we installed that, we had to build all that into the house. So I remember doing that all with my dad because the house just was not built with central heat and air. It had a furnace that was for heat. I don't know what the furnace ran off of.
I don't even remember the furnace. I remember space heaters.
You remember that big wrought iron thing in the hallway?
Yeah, I remember it. I don't ever remember it working.
Well, it was warm, but we had space heaters that we,
Like-
as a kid, you just spit
Yeah,
in it,
Like put it.
push straws into it, and watch the
100%.
straws melt.
Sitting in front of it, getting ready for school in the morning, warming up your socks, and you just
Watch it sizzle. But yeah, that's how we grew up.
Wow. That's hardcore.
I don't think we got AC until I had to have been
You didn't
15.
You didn't even have a window unit like in your room?
No.
So
We
you
had
weren't
crank windows,
We had,
so you just
there were
open-
jalousie windows.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So you could hear all the neighborhood entertainment and
Yeah. And our dad, like, it's not like one day he was like, "Boys, we got us. Christmas came early. We're getting an AC." Like he just came home from work. He was a construction worker, so he took
Found
one
one?
that, yeah, he took one off of a job that they were demoing the building or something. But it was as big as this table. It was way oversized for the house. It was like a commercial unit or something.
So your ceiling sweat.
We only needed one duct. It just
you walk by it, you blew you sideways.
Dude, one duct as opposed to none?
Yeah, we were living
Oh,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Incredible. I learned stuff today about y'all.
listen.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. I'll come back on and we'll just do life on acres. Have all kinds of stories.
That was the name of the road, Acres. Yeah. So, yeah, we got more. A lot more. But
Thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah.
Tony, thanks for driving down from Narragansett, Rhode Island, just to be on this podcast for a second time.
we actually had an event that we were going to in Savannah. If you remember Donnie, who came on
Donnie Walker.
the Low Country Range Days, we were going to that event. And that's an amazing event. I think there was about 80 people that signed up this year that were going to go, and all kinds of vendors and a really cool firearm community. This would have been our second time going, and it's on 3,600 acres up near Savannah. But I don't know all the details, but basically the property got sold. So the event that Donnie hosted, he hosted that event. The property Donnie hosted that event on got sold, and so he was trying to cross his fingers and hope he could still have it, even though it was going to be sold, because he'd put so much work into building. You think about property to shoot guns, and it's not just you got to have property. You got to have berms and space and people to accommodate parking and vendors and there's a lot of elbow sweating that goes into setting up a property that you can shoot on it and effectively and host 80 people in a professional manner, in a safe manner. And so he put a lot of time and effort and energy into the property to get it that way. And so he was hoping that some of that would carry over, but they basically said, yeah, we're not doing it. And so they pulled the rug out from underneath him, like literally we found out about it like 2 weeks ago that it was canceled. But we already had, Tony had already had plans to come down. We had already had our Airbnb reserved. And so I won't say exactly. Donnie's trying to triage it because he knows people are coming in from out of town. People got investments in their time to come too. And people have already got all this time taken off. So he's trying to figure out something we can do for the event to still host it. And so he's trying to find a property there that he can't host 80 people, but maybe we can still go there and shoot and have fun and get some good instruction from some good firearm instructors. But there is a CQB shoot house that is in that area that they've offered to let us go do training in. So it's an AC'd, air-conditioned CQB shoot house that, as of right now, we're able to use it as of today. And the event's in, 4 days? So unless something changes, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what we're going to be able to do is go up there and use the CQB shoot house.
Wow.
And do it with simunitions. So
that's really cool.
yeah, it turned into like a cool event to like, dude, this would be sick if we can do this. like not that it's better than low country, because low country, but like it's not like a level under. Like it's like a lateral. Like, dude, this will be just as cool if we can do this, in my opinion, if not better.
Wow.
Yeah, last year I tried to talk the guy who kind of helps run that shoot house too, if we could, hey, you're going to open that up to book it? And he was like, no, I'm not doing it as of right now. So kind of works out to where if it works out, we'll be getting like an exclusive little insider thing.
It's usually not open to the public.
Yeah.
It's usually open for military law enforcement to go do at this place. It's a high end, it's a bougie place that they don't just open up to public. And so if we get to do it, then it's like a pretty sick opportunity. So,
And they're letting us parachute in.
Oh, sweet.
but listen, I mean, not that we're trying to be something we're not, because none of us are like, but like what you underestimate. So like if you go just on a flat range or an indoor range and shoot your pistol, your AR, whatever it is, you're learning how to use the weapon, and those are good things. You should learn how to do that. But there's just like PDR. Like if we start someone in this like static, easy position, and then you add factors that make it more difficult. So like if you go shoot in a range, you're learning the weapon, basic functions, manual of arms of the weapon, and loads, reloads, aim, point, shoot, blah blah blah, safety. But then you go over to like a range like where we go, like low country, where you're running and you're adding factors that make it more difficult, like your heart rate or other external factors. That is another side of things that's why we like to do it, because it's just adding factors that make it more difficult and help make you more proficient. But then when you add some kind of CQB training, and I've done like 0.001% of CQB training. We do it at our church because they want you to, if you're going to carry a firearm, they want you to have some kind of proficiency. And when you understand not only moving with a firearm, but now you're moving under duress in an unknown structure with a firearm, that adds another level of another factor.
That's nightmare.
So, how does that translate for like a guy like you or I, who isn't a SWAT team or a SEAL guy? Like we're not like anybody, but like if you own an AR or you own a handgun and you would ever have to move around a house with that, then this applies. Or if you carry in a building or a structure where you might have to move around with that, hypothetically, worst case, but in a case you might have to do that, then this applies, right? Like, so you would think like, it doesn't apply to me because I'm not some guy. Well, but it really does. Like because there's levels of complication to doing that can make that go well for you if you know a little bit of knowledge, or go tremendously bad for you. That makes you the asset in that situation or the liability in that situation. You're either going like, and so the little bit I know has been like mind blowing. And so to be able to go there and learn from people who are instructors who do this for their job and can relay that information in a way like, and to get to move around. Well, the other thing, simunitions.
That's cool.
So again, if you go train at a range doing that movement, no one's shooting back at you. There's zero risk of injury per se from, no one's shooting back at you. Or there's no consequence to you moving too fast or moving too slow or whatever. But now you're going to go in a place where there is that consequence of entering in too fast or not entering, whatever that is. So that makes that decision even more impactful, which makes the training even more impactful. Like, so I'm super excited to go have the ability to do that because I know it will 100% apply in my life. If I have to go through my shop at night, which I have had to go through, I've had to go through my house at night with a gun. So that applies to me. So, so it's super cool to get some training that facilitates that. So,
yeah, because you just don't get that anywhere. It's not like you just run off the street. You go to gun gallery, there's no drawing from holsters.
yeah.
Just table, point, shoot, down, repeat. So you can only get proficient so far. Then you can go to saltwaters. Now you're laterally, but you're not really moving, and communicating with anybody. So again, the civilian populace is pretty limited to how proficient they can become. And you open up to something like this that was typically for law enforcement or first responders or military personnel, and you're like, whoa, why isn't this for everybody? Because there's all these different caps for every plateau or whatnot. So it's a really awesome opportunity for sure.
Even like there's training scars, meaning like if all you ever did was go in, shoot in an indoor range where you can't draw from a holster, you have to, everything is just shoot the gun, set it down, reload, shoot the gun, set it down, reload. Like you are developing some type of training scars. You will be doing that. That hopefully won't translate over into a situation that you employ those training scars. But like this type of training will hopefully show those scars, highlight where those deficiencies are, and help you be able to train through them. For example, moving into a room too fast or without clearing it properly, without someone shooting at you, oh, no big deal. Like I can do that. There's no consequence to that. But now if there's someone shooting at you with something that literally hurts and can break skin, yeah, I might not do that. I'm going to move a little slower, or I'm going to respond in this way, or I want to make sure this corner's clear before whatever that is. I don't know. I'm not, but like, that's what gets me excited is those type of thinking about it is, yeah, that'll be cool. That's what I'm into.
Yeah, I'm not anti 2A at all, but a lot of people who have firearms probably shouldn't have one. It's not like when you go buy a handgun, they say, hey, by the way, here's this guy, call him. He's going to train you up and show you how to handle it, freaking load the thing. They just go give them their $500 or whatever, and they walk out with this gun, and it sits in a box with no bullets in it, like Tony. And
Dang, shots fired.
Nope, not from his.
Got him.
Yeah, so you're these people are bridging the gap between what they've learned in the military and the average civilian who just wants to be able to protect himself and in an efficient and safe way. So
It's it's about the responsibility, the inherent responsibility that comes with whatever. Just like we talked about the dog that ripped the guy's face off. Like if you're going to own the dog, there's a responsibility to control and somewhat manage that dog or the risk of that dog to other people. And even if he's a bad dog, put him in the room when other people come over. Well, I mean, I'm not saying you can't have a bite dog, like you can have whatever you want, but you still got to be responsible with it. Put it in a kennel, put it in a cage, put it in a room, whatever, if people are coming around. If you don't trust it or if it's a risk to other. So there's a responsibility. And it's the same with a firearm is like, well, the big thing that I think people miss is the responsibility to know how to use that firearm. I think you are living in a cartoon environment if you think I can buy this thing and I never have to worry about shooting it, and then in this under duress situation, I'm going to grab this thing and instantly be proficient with it in a life-altering way. That's like if I ever think about I have to use my gun, I'm going to assume it's going to be in a life or death situation, right? That should be the only time I use it.
Sure.
Is protecting someone else's life or mine. That's going to be a high stress, duress situation to where I'm expecting to just be highly proficient in something that I don't train in. Like that's literally the most irresponsible thing I can't think of something more irresponsible at the moment. No, you're not going to be proficient with that. If anything, you're going to be the other man with the gun who people are trying to protect people against. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be proficient. And so it's highly irresponsible to think that way, in my opinion. And so if you have a gun that isn't a safe queen, that you do carry because you think I might need to use this, then you have already signed the line that says you should be proficient with it, or else you are, in my opinion, you're just
Irresponsible.
You're irresponsible.
Yeah.
Irresponsible. That's the correct word, right? So the burden of responsibility that comes with a gun is high, and I think just like anything, the more you go down the rabbit hole of is the more you realize the farther you go down the training, the more you realize you need more training, right? Just like with PDR. Like you think, oh, I get into this, I'll get a few lessons and I'll be good to go and I'll go make some money. That becomes reality really fast that no, this isn't how it works. I mean, it will to a degree, but like you quickly realize what you don't know, right? And the more I've gotten into firearms, the more I realize what I don't know, right? And so you take a step forward and you're like, oh, I'll try this. And then you're like, oh, crap, I don't know anything. So I got to take 2 more steps forward. And then oh, my gosh, I got to go here. Oh, my gosh. And you quickly learn like, dang, I need a lot of training here. If I have this, not fantasy, that's not what it is. If I have this expectation that like, oh, my gosh, I might have to use this, which is why I carry it. No, I need more training.
I saw that firsthand last year at Low Country on a couple different spectrums. One where you see people from, holiday shooters, which a couple times a year they'll go to the range, all the way to like full kit. And you see both ends of the spectrum falling apart in drills. The drill's the drill. It continues on. Like things are clearing, mags are dropping, they're flustered, and you're still waiting for shots to go down range. And there was one specific drill, they were trying to raffle something off, and you had to have the best time. It was 3 shots on a metal target at 25 yards on the buzzer, but you were on the target, safety off, beep, right? And I watched probably a handful, 4 or 5 guys go, and they were anywhere from 1.3 to get all the shots off, 1.8. Miss. Right?
25 yards with a rifle
On target.
On
Safety
target,
off.
safety off.
Beep.
Shooting
Beep.
C's
Pull
on
the
steel.
trigger.
Yep. No duress. Just waiting for the buzzer. And so it puts things into perspective.
Wow, just the pressure of
Right,
people
right.
watching.
And not even
Competition.
because it was just this was just downtime, but it was just that the only duress that they had. Not
That's a wake-up
elevated.
call.
It was just the buzzer. So it was.
That's
and,
a wake-up call.
It most definitely is. And so when you start to see things on that, it's like you can never be too
Yeah.
proficient.
Yeah.
You know, you're always overconfident. You know, but you're always going to fall to that level of training. You're never going to rise to the level of the situation.
Yeah.
Everyone says like, "Hey, when I get in a fight, I'll see red." You're just gonna get punched and go cry to mommy. You know, but it takes a lot of time and dedication to put in those reps, and it's not cheap. But there is that responsibility that goes along with it, and that's on all aspects. You know, you see a lot of people showing up at the range, 500 rounds, and they leave not caring to become a better shooter. There's no groupings. They just have this 24 by 36 target, and out of that 500, maybe 425 hit the paper at 12 yards. And you're like, and nobody's ever going to stand there and let you shoot at them. You know, it's just not the reality of it. So, and I'm not discrediting anybody, but if you want to be proficient in certain things, there are steps to take to become more. You just don't expend 500 rounds, put them down, and just be like, okay, I feel better. You know? So
I think people go to the range to like shoot their gun as it's like an activity I want to do. They're not going there necessarily with intention of let me get better at this. It's just like, let's just go around, like let's go to the range and hit a few balls, you know, like golfing or something. That's like a stress reliever. I think a lot of people go to the range to just I'm stressed out. I'm gonna go get some bullets down range, and there's no intention of anything. And I think you 100% need to be intentional with your training because one of the firearm instructors said a lot of decisions, I would say 99% of the decisions you make in life you can reverse out of. Like you buy the wrong truck, you buy the wrong house, you marry the wrong girl. Like, you know, there's a lot of things you can recover from. You shoot that gun,
that trigger pull is
you pull that trigger in the wrong situation, that's not reversible.
right.
Right? Like every round that you have essentially has a lawyer attached to it, and you pull that thing wrong in the wrong situation, that's not recoverable.
Right.
So there's a huge responsibility to be proficient if you have the illusion that you're going to carry it and ever pull it out. Again, I'm not talking to someone who wants to buy them to collect them to keep in a safe or keep on a wall. I think that's a separate genre. But if you carry, or if you think I have that because if somebody comes in my yard, whatever that is, whatever that thing is, yeah, that's 100% doesn't get more ignorant or more naive that you think I'm just going to be able to grab that and be proficient in a high risk duress situation where my adrenaline's pumping and this thing is moving that's normally still at 25 yards, not firing back, whatever it is. Like, yeah, that's just the most naive thing ever. So,
when I was in Texas last year, I would take every Sunday off to do laundry, to get a good workout, and go to the range. So I'd stop by Academy, get 1,200 rounds, go by the gun range, and just be there for hours. Same draw, same two shots. Same draw, same two shots. And, you know, I have stories for weeks on end of the people that would run through there. But there was this one guy specifically, as I'm watching, he's got the silhouette target with the anatomy, like slim, good body cut, you know. It's got little arteries, you know.
Wasn't Fat Debbie.
It wasn't Fat Debbie. And I remember he was just so proud of himself. And I'm not harping on the guy for that. I remember 25 rounds. He had a box of 25. He shoots all 25. He brings it off from the 10-yard line, turns around, shows it to his wife. There was one shot in the head and 24 around the silhouette. And I'm thinking, who cares about that one? You know? And so he was so proud to make, you should feel safe. Because 1 out of 24, I hit this guy square on. And it really sunk into my mind because people would say, hey, man, you should change your target. No, man, I'd shoot through at 15 yards, and I know where they're going through because they're nowhere else on the paper except right there. On the buzzer, douche, douche, reholster. On the buzzer, douche, douche. But I think it comes down just to discipline. Not everybody has that same discipline in all aspects or manners of life. Personally, physically, spiritually, financially, it's all just these moving targets. But this one area is life altering. You know, even in the Northeast, you expose a firearm for a potential threat, you're definitely going to trial. You know, there was a guy who was quote unquote protecting his land. It was a $7.7 million house on the beach against these fishermen that were just, property owners only own up to 10 feet of the high tide line. They think they own the whole coast. So it's been this big dispute over the test of time. These guys are out fishing. He's hitting golf balls. He's got the drone dive bombing them. And then the property owner goes over, takes their hoodies, and runs back to his house. And the fisherman, okay, we'll get out of here. Just give us the hoodies back. Meanwhile, as they approach his property, he pulls out a 45 and chambers around. And they're like, not over a couple hoodies. But the essence of, you just can't do that. You know?
No.
So now the cops get involved. So, you know, I read the article, and I think I would have titled the article 9 iron and 9 millimeter equals a hole-in-one felony.
That's pretty good.
Because there goes that dude's 2A rights for the rest of his life, just because he wanted to play a tough guy and just prove a point, get off it's not really my land, but you got to be so careful with that stuff. You need to understand your rights, the laws, what's a real threat, where your ego is. It's a lot to comprehend, especially as a dude, you know?
Yeah, I think for me, like I've always been like an enthusiast, you know, but then training in law enforcement, I think we only went to the range like over my 3 years, it was like maybe 3 times, once a year qual. Other than that, you got nothing. Unless you put, you know, your own stuff into it. But as far as
that's
the
crazy.
department, you got nothing.
Yeah.
And it was
crazy.
It was your B8 target at, you know, however 7 yards, and I don't know how many 20 something rounds or whatever it is to pass, and it's kind of it. But then like fast forward to George Floyd and COVID and all the riots and everything is like, I remember I was in Atlanta working that enterprise deal at the Motor Speedway, and I think at the time some guy was like drunk in a Wendy's drive-through, like passed out drunk, and the cops showed up, and it turned into something, and like the guy got one of the cops' tasers and was like trying to tase one of the cops, and so they lit this dude up and killed him, and rightfully so. But like everyone was like coming against the cops, like, why'd you shoot him? Why'd you shoot him? And the cops, like in retaliation, like I forget how many minutes, you can probably Google it, but like all of these calls were coming in for service, like shots fired calls from just around Atlanta. And it was like radio silence from Atlanta PD. And they were refusing to take these calls because no one was coming to the cops' aid in support of the choices that they make when they have to use their firearm. And so the point is like, if I need to be responsible for my own safety, I don't need some guy who I've never met, you know, answering a call, driving, you know, 13 minutes to get to me. Like, that's just not going to work for me.
That only goes to the range once a year.
Yeah.
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 And the more you go to these events,
Yeah.
like we've been to a few of these events, and like there's cops that maybe come, and that you hear some of the horror stories about the lack of training in some of these departments, and or even the qualification standards, what they have to do. And again, I'm not bagging on police. I love them, and I'm, you know, I want them to come when I call them. But I've been aware of a harsh reality of like, if I'm relying on that random person to show up and save my life with their proficiency of that thing, then I'm highly naive as well, right? Like it comes down to personal responsibility that I hope that they come, and I hope they're highly proficient and more proficient than me, but that doesn't skirt my responsibility is all I'm trying to say. Like I need to be, if I'm gonna go down that road, then I need to be mentally prepared. Like, okay, I need to be proficient with it. And you go to these events and you see police officers standing beside you who aren't good. And it's like, what the heck? And you hear some of their stuff and it's like, man, I'm sorry, but I'm not trusting my life to that person. You know, if it's within my power to do so, then I will, and I want to be proficient at it.
But to tie into what you said, you're showing up to this event and you see some cops next to you. They're not there because their department funded and sent them there. I think one of the guys that showed up last year was from Texas, showed up all the way to Georgia on his own dime to just be more proficient. And so I think that's like a huge tell of the lack of training that some of these departments are putting in to their officers.
I was at an event with a SWAT guy. He was beside me. He was a jiu-jitsu black belt guy that we hit it off. And he's like, listen, man, we have the state-of-the-art range. We get all of our rounds supplied to us. I cannot get people to come out here and train with me. He's like, nobody wants to come out here and train. They want to go do their qualifications and they put in the minimal that they have to. And they want to go do whatever. I was like, well, I'll come train with you anytime you get the rounds. I'll come right down. But like, that's just, I'm not trying to stereotype the culture. I'm just telling you my experience from what I've gotten with the small glimpse of looking into it. But like, and even a lot of the cops I know, and they're good friends of mine, but they don't care about being proficient with that. They care about checking the box for whatever their job requires of them, and they're going back to watching their football or whatever. They're not going to spend their own money. We're taking off money. We're taking off work, renting a house, paying to go to an event as civilians to learn something that they can have for free. And like, they don't want it. And so when you go to these events, a lot of these, from what I was told, and I'm sure people have their opinion about it, but like these instructors love us because we're into it. We don't have to be there. We're on our own dime to be there. And we're like a sponge that just want to soak up knowledge, as opposed to them having, you know, some officer being dragged to some event he doesn't want to go to, and he's not into it, and he's barely putting any effort or care into it, and he's just whatever. And like those instructors, like they don't give a rip about that guy.
But these are guys that want to teach, though. They're not. I mean, they're making money teaching us, but they're not there for the money. They're there to help support the civilian who wants to protect himself and protect his community. So, like Matt said, like they want to teach and they want people to receive it. And to his point, like some people just, some departments just, you know, guys show up, check the box, and go back home. See you Monday.
Yeah. The other last little thing to harp on here is just like how I know that we could, any one of us, if I handed a dent tool to you, you could walk right up to a car and put the tool right to that dent without trying. It's just muscle memory, right? It's because you've done it so much. And so the other thing of that is proficiency, but it's also just that muscle memory. You know, I was talking to Salo yesterday. We're talking about guns and shooting. We were talking about like, if I had to pull my gun at night, you know, some intruder is in the house, how do I not shoot one of my kids? And I'm like, exactly. That's the hard part. Is shoot the bad guy or deal with the bad guy, but not shoot the people like that. That's the point. That's the whole thing I'm trying to figure out, right? And some of that comes from knowledge, but some of it comes from muscle memory, just like your trigger finger. Or manipulating a safety on an AR every round, potentially, or every round sequence, manipulating that safety. And when moving at low ready, so you're not on, so I'm moving with my rifle. If I do have to pull up my rifle in the middle of the night, it's on safe. I'm moving at low ready. And if I do have to pick it up, I've already acknowledged the threat, and I pick it up, and it's just automatic off safe pop. Right? There's no, that's just that muscle memory that I'm building in at the training on the flat range that hopefully will translate, and that's not something I have to think about, which he benefits from on being on the other end of that gun, right? Like, because me not just having my finger on a 2-pound trigger walking through my house, and I hear I see a shadow, or I hear the littlest thing, and pow, and it just goes off. Like, that's so, just the proficiency to be able to have the manual, be able to operate the rifle and do those things, and have it be one less thing I think about because I'm thinking about something else. I don't have to think about that as I'm thinking about what that is, right? I can think about what's on the other end of that gun. And so it's just how do you get that? That comes from doing it. That comes from reps, right? Just like PDR, what's going to make you proficient is reps. Yeah. That's the only thing I can say. And the only thing that's going to make you more proficient with a firearm is reps. Those don't come for free. And so you got to earn those. And so, yeah, that's the...
And there's no hiding. It's just like PDR. The truth is out there on the table. You can say everything, but the proof is in the pudding. Just like firearms. I do my dry fires every day, but when stuff falls apart and the fundamentals aren't there, it shows. You can't hide behind it, So...
And there's other things like getting through malfunctions or testing your gear. How many times have we been on a range and like you're running and your red dot falls off and you're like, oh. like
That's why you epoxy it onto your slide. What are you talking about?
Tony. That's stuff that, like, if you only pull it out once a year, you're not gonna work through those things, right? Like how your gear performs in certain situations, or there's the 1,000 scenarios or situations, but it's just getting out there and knowing your weapon system and being proficient with it, and working through, it something coming loose or something jamming or the wrong ammunition or whatever it is. Whatever it is, you need to be able to know it and be able to triage it and get through it, but also, be proficient with it. And
well, especially that one expensive accessory that the internet told you had to put on your gun, and you go and buy it and you put it on there and you're like, oh, I don't know how to use that, or my hand's too big or too small to make it work right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's 100 reasons why you should go to the range and be and train regularly, in my opinion. So that's why we're all here.
And there's always ways around it. I'm in New York, where you cannot legally walk around with a pistol. All my firearms are illegal there. And so in my hotel room, I just set up my own indoor range, with my plink targets and my laser targets, and train that way, because I cannot legally go to a firearm and do anything. I know, it's crazy. But I made you guys gifts, and I forgot them because I ran out of the house. I made everybody rifle sling pads. They're pretty sweet too.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll give you guys yours when we go to shoot, and yours I'll mail it to you or something.
Sweet.
Yeah.
At your house at home?
Does his come
give
with
it
a
to
rifle?
Mark.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll give it to.
Okay, yeah.
I made
Mine comes with a rifle.
No, no rifle.
Mark said.
No rifle.
No, I said,
sling.
does it?
No rifle, no sling, and just the pad. I made them out of old underwear and old wetsuits.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, so.
Fat Debbie's underwear.
I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna name mine.
Fat Debbie. All right, y'all. Mark, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
We should have rode together.
Yeah, we could have.
Oh yeah, you guys are.
Neighbors.
follow each other home. Mm-hmm. Buddy system.
Buddy system.
Yeah,
Did you both come from home?
I did.
I did. Well, no, I didn't leave at the. No, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank y'all for being here.
Oh,
Thank y'all for
awesome.
listening.
Yep.
See you next time.
See ya.
The Dent Repair, Matt Boyette. Thank you so much for being here.
She's smooth.